Chapter 1245. The Pill Devils chased after them unhurriedly and finally reached the end of the peach forest. Along the way, the Pill Devils plucked peaches and cut down trees. Everywhere they passed, there were broken branches and trees everywhere. They didn't take the Longevity God Palace's peach demons seriously at all. They could only blame the peach demons for being too weak and easy to bully. They were clearly attacked by outsiders, but not a single one dared to stop them. Seeing this, the Pill Demons all secretly looked down on the Peach Demon's cowardice. They became even more arrogant. Never had they imagined that when they arrived at the end of the Peach Forest, they suddenly noticed that there were actually a few thousand Peach Demons gathered here, and all of them were the elites of the Peach Demon clan. Merely the Immortal Exalts and Immortal Kings amongst them numbered 11, and their numbers were actually on par with their own forces. Even with the arrogance of the Pill Demons, they couldn't help but hesitate when they saw this scene. They wondered when the Peach Demons had become so unyielding. Were they really going to fight the Peach Demons today? Was it worth it? The Pill Devils looked at each other and hesitated for a moment. Their originally arrogant words could not be said at this moment. Seeing this scene, the oldest Pill Devil finally stood up. He glared at the other Pill Devils in disappointment and reprimanded, "Our generation's Pill Devils have already submitted to the Devil Conferral Summit. What are you afraid of? Peach Demons, you're acting like this. It's truly shameful to be called Pill Devils." The elder Pill Devil had a stooped figure and an ordinary appearance. He was extremely inconspicuous among the Pill Devils and was easily overlooked. When they were chasing after Ji Fuyao, he only followed behind lazily. He wasn't in a hurry to attack, nor did he try to steal the limelight. However, at this moment he was standing in front of everyone. His originally gloomy eyes instantly became incomparably sinister, and a ferocious light shot out in all directions. As the demon's demonic intent erupted, 10 jade-colored pill markings appeared on his left face. On his right face, there was a C character shrouded in demonic chi. Who is this? Is there such a person in the Pill Devil clan? Some of the younger Peach Demons didn't recognize the elder Pill Devil and were puzzled. However, there was no lack of seniors among the Peach Demons. They recognized the elder Pill Devil one after another, and all of them turned pale with fright. It's actually the Sea Devil General. He's not dead yet. He actually survived the tribulation of Pill Ignition and lived until today. What? He's the 6th Devil General under the old Pill King? In the past, this devil dared to invade our race with just his 9 revolutions Emperor Pill bloodline. Our race used all our strength to encircle this devil, but he still ate a few immortal venerables and immortal kings alive. Fortunately, the Spirit Peach Great Emperor gave up his seclusion and forced the devil to retreat. Now that this devil has endured the Dan Ignition tribulation, it is very likely that he has ascended to the 10 revolutions bloodline. The Sea Demon General could not help but sneer when he saw that there were still people who remembered his infamy. His gaze swept across the faces of the Peach Demons before finally stopping on the patriarch of the Peach Demon clan, Tao Wanyan. "I remember you. You're the youngest son of the Spirit Peach Emperor. Back then, I came here to eat and ate countless Peach Demons. I even ate quite a few of your brothers and sisters. At that time, you were just a teenager, so scared that you couldn't even stand properly in front of this old man. If not for your father forcefully coming out of seclusion to save you, even you would have been eaten into this old man's stomach. Now that you are no longer a teenager, your flesh and blood are no longer fresh and tender. Damn it, I've been targeted by this demon again." Things had changed with the passage of time. Tao Wanyan was no longer the teenager from back then. He had already grown into the patriarch of a clan and was a 5 tribulation immortal king. But even so, he still felt the air stifling as he stood in front of the Sea Demon General, as if a vast ocean was pressing down on him. He did not dare to move recklessly. This demon had hidden himself for so many years. Just what had he experienced? Why had his aura become so unfathomable? Before the Elixir Ignition tribulation, this demon could easily escape from an immortal emperor. After the tribulation, could it be that this demon's strength was comparable to an immortal emperor's? If the Pill Demon clan had joined the Devil Conferral Summit, Then this demon had no choice but to refine the demon seed bestowed by the Devil Conferral Summit. If that was the case, this demon alone could destroy the Peach Demon clan. You're all very lucky. This old man does not wish to kill too much today. Today, I'm only hunting Ji Fuyao. It has nothing to do with the Peach Demons. Scram. You scram too. The Sea Demon General pointed at Tao Wanyan and said disdainfully. Tao Wanyan was stunned at first, but then, as if he had been granted amnesty, he wanted nothing more than to lead his clansmen back into the clan's formation. However, at the next moment, his face turned deathly pale. It was because the Sea Demon General's finger was pointing at Ning Fan again. Everyone here can leave except for you. Hand over Ji Fuyao, who is under your umbrella. What if I don't? Ning Fan said mercilessly. I know you're an immortal king and you're not an ordinary one. Your magic power is unfathomable. Unfortunately, I'm not an ordinary person either. If you disobey my orders, I will let you know how terrifying a 10th Revolution Pill Devil is today and what. Rumble. Before the Sea Demon General could finish his words, he suddenly felt a tremendous force coming at him. His entire body was stomped on the ground by Ning Fan's foot, sinking into the soil. Ning Fan stepped on the Sea Devil General's head. Although it was a simple stomp, the Sea Devil General's sea of consciousness was shattered. He spurted out a mouthful of blood all over the ground and his spirit sense nearly collapsed. He let out a whimper. A feeling of impending death suddenly spread throughout the Sea Demon General's body. He struggled, desperately crawling and clawing on the ground, trying to escape from under Ning Fan's foot. However, he could not. It was as if what was stepping on his head was the ancient firmament, the eternal earth, and everything in the world. This is fake. This is fake. I'm a dignified 10th Revolution Pill Devil. Not even the Pill Flaming Tribulation could burn me to death. Not even Senior Greed's Daylight Dome Stone could suppress me. Why am I unable to move after being stomped by you? What kind of demonic technique did you use? Good. Very good. You've angered me. Watch me break your suppression technique and tear you into pieces. The true body of the Pill Devil appeared. The Sea Demon General's physical body began to expand. His chi also began to rise. He already had the strength of a peak immortal king. Now that he revealed his true body, his magic power was comparable to that of an ancient Sixth Tribulation immortal emperor. An ancient Sixth Tribulation immortal emperor could fight against an 8th Tribulation immortal emperor or even a 9th Tribulation immortal emperor from the Dharma-ending era. The Sea Demon General's chi was too powerful, making it hard for all the Peach Demons to breathe. His true body was too hard. His body glowed with the luster of a 10th Revolution pill. According to the legends, a true 10th Revolution pill was as hard as an innate magic treasure. Even if it was attacked by an innate magic treasure, it would not suffer much damage. The devil body of this devil vaguely glowed with the luster of a 10th Revolution pill. Presumably, it could also resist an innate magic treasure. His devil sense was too powerful. Under the sweep of his devil sense, everyone was like a lone boat in the vast ocean. While everyone was shocked by the scariness of the Sea Demon General's true body, they suddenly heard a loud bang. The Sea Demon General's true body actually exploded into pieces. Ning Fan was too lazy to continue wasting time and came to watch the Sea Demon General's transformation performance. He took the opportunity to close the Virtue Umbrella and used it as a blunt weapon to launch an attack. When the umbrella fell, the Sea Demon General's physical body exploded on the spot. What was even more strange was that the Sea Demon General's physical body did not explode into a sky full of blood. Instead, it scattered into rainwater. This attack actually turned the Sea Demon General's physical body into rainwater. It was actually an attack that directly attacked a physical existence. Silence. The entire place fell into dead silence. None of them expected that the Sea Demon General, who was the most arrogant and domineering among them, would be smashed to death by Ning Fan's umbrella so easily. What was even more strange was the way the Sea Demon General died. It turned into rainwater. Even though the demons and devils here had been enlightened by the power of perception, they still could not see through the mystery of it. This feeling, Ning Fan did not care about killing the sea demon general at all. He had killed countless quasi-saints. Killing a mere immortal king realm sea devil general would not make him feel anything. What he cared about was the virtue umbrella itself. It was the rain that the sea demon general turned into after his death. As a matter of fact, he had more than 10 ways to kill the sea demon general in a single move. However, he was too lazy to waste his magic power. Thus, he grabbed the virtue umbrella and used it as a weapon to smash the sea demon general with brute force. However, he did not expect the sea demon general to be so weak that it could not even withstand a single blow from the virtue umbrella. Using the umbrella as a weapon was originally an unintentional move. However, at this moment, Ning Fan had an unexpected discovery. When the virtue umbrella was used as a weapon, the rain intent in his body actually resonated with the virtue umbrella and its power erupted by more than 10 times. Then, the attack from the virtue umbrella was no longer a physical attack. Instead, it directly changed the sea demon general's existence and turned him into rainwater. The virtue umbrella actually has such a use? That's not right. Perhaps this is not the use of the virtue umbrella itself. Instead, it is the concealment technique that the heaven-battling jade umbrella uses as the material to refine it. The heaven-battling jade umbrella is the Rain Master's titled weapon. Legend has it that those who possess the title of Rain Master can trigger the concealment ability of the heaven-battling jade umbrella. Today, the heaven-battling jade umbrella was upgraded into the virtue umbrella by Ning Fan. Looking at the situation today, not only did the concealment ability remain, but the restrictions on its usage were also reduced. Ning Fan only had a small amount of the Rain Master's titled force in his body. All of them were devoured from true sovereign North Sea. Originally, he was not qualified to use the concealment ability of the heaven-battling jade umbrella. However, after the restrictions on the umbrella were reduced, he was qualified to use it. As for the concealment ability, it was probably an existence-level killing power. All of these were just Ning Fan's guesses. The method to verify this was very simple. He could just ask the virtue umbrella directly. Let me ask you. Just as Ning Fan was about to talk to the virtue umbrella, he suddenly heard the exclamations of the peach demons around him. As soon as the sea devil general died, a pill actually burst out from his body. Could it be that this pill is his true form? Ning Fan had been paying too much attention to the virtue umbrella just now. Only now did he notice that at the place where the sea devil general died, a pill with a magnificent luster was separated from the rainwater. It gave off a strange medicinal fragrance, and there were a total of 10 pill marks on the surface of the pill. Judging from the pill's fragrance, this pill should be the 8 C's pill. Rumor has it that the 8 C's pill is extremely difficult to concoct. Just the main ingredients for concocting the pill need to be collected from 8 C's of the 4 corners grade. The seawater must be refined dry and condensed into the pill. As for the other supplementary ingredients, none of them isn't rare and precious. The 8 C's pill can greatly increase a cultivator's water element power. Rumor has it that there was once a Dao Law realm cultivator who consumed 1 pill and directly touched the threshold of the Palm realm. The pill that the Sea Devil General has is not an ordinary 8 C's pill. An ordinary 8 C's pill is only at the 9 Revolutions Emperor level. However, this pill was raised to the 10th Revolution because the Sea Devil General had endured the tribulation of pill ignition. It's a genuine 10th Revolution ancestral pill. A 10th Revolution pill can attract half-step saints to fight for it. As soon as this pill appears, I'm afraid the old demons and devils of the other palaces will sense it. It's impossible for them not to come here. This is bad. This is bad. The peach demons spoke one after another, explaining the profoundness of this 8 C's pill to Ning Fan. Their discussions entered Ning Fan's ears. As a result, the way he looked at this 8 C's pill also became slightly different. This pill seems to be able to greatly increase one's water element power. However, the body of the pill seems to be a little unstable. It's showing signs of breaking apart. Ning Fan did not continue to question the Karma umbrella. Instead, he raised his hand and sucked the pill into his palm. Perhaps it was due to the impact of the Karma umbrella, the surface of the pill was already wet. It was showing signs of turning into rain. In that case, this pill could not be kept for a long time. If it is kept for a while longer, it might completely turn into rain and disappear. Ning Fan was a little speechless. It was rare for him to obtain a 10th revolution pill. However, he actually could not bring it back and study it slowly. If he does not consume it on the spot, it would disappear. He had no choice but to consume it as soon as possible. Gulp. Ning Fan swallowed the pill into his stomach. The peach demons immediately exclaimed in surprise. What? Lord Great Minister of War actually consumed this 10th revolution pill? How could he not make any preparations and consume it directly? There's one more thing which is also troublesome. There must be some demons and devils in the other palaces who have smelled the chi of this pill and are rushing here. However, Lord Great Minister of War ate this pill before them. In that case, I'm afraid those old monsters who intend to snatch this pill won't let it go easily. The enormous medicinal power ran wildly in his body, causing Ning Fan to feel bloated. However, that was all. After all, he had the body of a divine spirit and the body of a devil spirit. Even though the medicinal power of a 10th revolution pill was enormous and hard to digest, it was not enough to make him explode. Of course, it was also a fact that it was hard to digest the enormous medicinal power. If a pill devil was compared to a bowl of rice, Ning Fan, who had the body of a fiend god, could eat a mountain of rice. However, his cultivation base was not high enough and his digestive ability was lacking. Therefore, even if he were to eat a mountain of rice, he would need a lot of time to digest it. Since he could not digest the medicinal power for the time being, he decided not to do so. He would just let it be digested slowly in his body. From the moment Ning Fan killed the Ocean Devil General to the moment he consumed the 10th revolution pill of the Ocean Devil General, it actually only took a few breaths. All the pill devils were stunned by Ning Fan's ferocity. When they regained their senses, Ning Fan was already rushing towards the second pill devil with the umbrella in his hand. His target this time was a pill devil with an ivory tusk. When the pill devil saw Ning Fan rushing towards him, his face turned pale with fright. Ning Fan was a ruthless person who could instantly kill the Ocean Devil General. His strength was far inferior to the Ocean Devil General. No matter what, he would not be able to withstand a single attack from him. Brother Elephant, don't be afraid. I will come to help you. Me too. I will come too. Seeing that the pill devil with an ivory tusk was locked on by Ning Fan, 3 of the pill devils who were closest to him immediately rushed towards him. They wanted to join forces with him to deal with Ning Fan. The fact that Ning Fan killed the Ocean Devil General certainly shocked all the pill devils. However, they had the advantage in numbers after all. They thought that if many of them joined forces, they should be able to withstand a few attacks from Ning Fan. However, they were wrong. Extremely wrong. Even if the 4 pill devils joined forces, they could not last much longer in Ning Fan's hands. Ning Fan still just swept his umbrella. Then, blue raindrops swept across the area. The 4 pill devils along with their magic treasures and weapons were all turned into raindrops by Ning Fan's umbrella. The 4 pill devils had died, and not even their existences were left. Then, where the 4 pill devils had fallen, 4 more pills had appeared. Unfortunately, they were not 10 revolutions ancestral pills, but only 9 revolutions golden pills and emperor pills. These pills were also affected and showed signs of collapsing into raindrops. Seeing this, Ning Fan had no choice but to consume these pills on the spot to avoid wasting them. Even an immortal emperor can't kill 4 immortal venerables and immortal kings instantly. Since this person can do this, he is definitely at the same level as Lord Pill King. Let's leave quickly. We can't fight against him. The remaining pill devils were finally frightened. How could they still care about chasing after Ji Fuyao? All of them ran for their lives. However, how could they escape? Ning Fan's devil umbrella fell. The remaining pill devils turned into raindrops one after another and died. None of them could withstand more than 2 attacks from Ning Fan. As for the pills that fell from the sky, in order to avoid wasting them, Ning Fan ate them all. As a result, he became even more full. All the peach demons were dumbfounded by Ning Fan's combat strength. At the same time, all of them also felt puzzled. This is strange. According to the usual practice of the Mountain and Sea Division, when the division masters receive the tributes from the various heavens and worlds, they usually only send their low-grade divine clones over. The strongest of these low-grade divine clones won't surpass the thought fragment realm. Otherwise, it will affect the effect of the teleportation. However, this person actually has the strength to kill immortal venerables and immortal kings instantly. It doesn't seem to match the rumors. When we first saw this person's immortal king realm cultivation base and quasi-saint magic power, we thought that everything was just a disguise. Turns out it's true. Could it be that this person isn't the great minister of war's divine clone? Did we misunderstand something? Impossible. As soon as this person entered the Longevity God Palace, the ancient Yuan peach tree that was about to die of old age sensed his presence and bloomed once again. Other than the legendary Great Minister of War, who else could do this and revive an immemorial spiritual root that was about to die? This person must be the Great Minister of War without a doubt. As for the fact that his cultivation base is too high, it can also be explained. This time, the Mountain and Sea Division didn't send a low-grade divine clone of the Great Minister of War but a high-grade divine clone. Sending a low-grade divine clone means that they are going to receive the tributes, while sending a high-grade divine clone means that they are going to punish us. It's over. It's over. The Great Minister of War is here to punish us. As expected, we have already offended the Mountain and Sea Division by delaying the payment of tributes. A mere bribe is definitely not enough to appease the Great Minister of War's anger. We still need to find another way to make the Great Minister of War forgive us. The surrounding peach demons continued to discuss among themselves. Ning Fan was too lazy to care about these nonsensical peach demons. He directly summoned the leader of the peach demon clan, Tao Wanyan, and asked, "Is there a suitable place for seclusion here? I have medicinal power that I need to refine urgently. Besides, I also need to find a place to treat this little fellow's injuries." Ning Fan spread his hand. Ji Fuyao's unconscious little demon soul was lying on his palm. Seeing that the lady was severely injured and her demon soul might collapse at any time, Ning Fan frowned slightly and added, "It's best if it's a place of soft een that is suitable for nurturing the soul. Don't worry. I won't use your clan's seclusion place for free. I will naturally pay you after the matter is over." Speaking of a place of soft een, there is an excellent place in the Longevity God Palace. Unfortunately, a few years ago, the Devil Lords from the Devil Conferral Summit came here for a massacre, causing that place to be tainted with a lot of negative karma and baleful chi. The Great Minister of War is a priceless treasure. I'm afraid it's not suitable for him to go there. If we don't consider the matter of nurturing the soul, there are many places for seclusion in the Longevity God Palace that you can use as you please. As for the payment, we, the lowly cultivators of the Peach Demon Clan, do not dare to ask for anything from you. If you have anything to say, you can just tell us directly. Our clan will certainly risk our lives to fulfill your request. I only hope that you can give us a way out regarding the matter of the tribute peaches." Tao Wanyan said carefully. "I'll say it again. I'm not the Great Minister of War. Forget it. Just bring me to that place of soft een. But that place is filled with negative karma and baleful chi. It will be harmful to your cultivation base." "It's all right. Lead the way." In the Longevity God Palace, there were 100,000 mu of peach forest and 3,000 tree palaces. There was another place called the Peach Blossom Spring. It was the origin of all the peach trees in the world. In the Peach Blossom Spring, there were winding mountains and rivers. There were 3,000 water veins surrounding it. At the center of the spring, there were hundreds of gigantic peach trees that could reach the sky. These peach trees were different from the ones in the outside world. They were the inheritance trees of the Peach Demon Clan. They were called the Ancient Yuan Peach Trees. Before Ning Fan came to the Longevity God Palace, the Ancient Yuan Peach Trees in this place were already dying. However, the moment Ning Fan entered the Longevity God Palace, all the Ancient Yuan Peach Trees in this place were full of vitality and bloomed again. This was also the reason why the Peach Demon Clan firmly believed that Ning Fan was the Great Minister of War. Only the Great Minister of Mountains and Seas could do this. This Peach Blossom Spring was the seclusion place that the Peach Demon clan prepared for Ning Fan. Ning Fan wanted to enter seclusion peacefully. However, the reality was that there were always people who wanted to disturb him. On the first day of his seclusion in the Peach Blossom Spring, an 8th Tribulation Immortal Emperor Realm Wine Demon barged into the Peach Blossom Spring while burping. He kept asking Ning Fan to hand over the 10th Revolution pills that he had obtained previously. How could Ning Fan have any 10th Revolution pills? Previously, it was hard to preserve the pills. Why didn't he just eat them directly? As soon as the wine demon heard Ning Fan's words, he was instantly enraged. However, he soon realized that even though Ning Fan had eaten the pills, the enormous medicinal power had yet to be completely refined. There were still more than 90% of the medicinal power remaining in Ning Fan's body. Hence, the greed in the wine demon's heart rose. He wanted to capture Ning Fan and bring him back to make wine. He wanted to use Ning Fan, a living herb, to make a fine wine to test the medicinal power of the 10th Revolution pills. That was what the wine demon thought and did. He attacked Ning Fan in an arrogant manner. After that, then he was smashed into rainwater by Ning Fan's umbrella. His existence was erased. As for his true form, the ancient purple myrtle wine, it was seized by Ning Fan. On the second day of the Peach Blossom Spring, 2 book demons with half-saint realm cultivation bases came to the door. They also wanted to capture Ning Fan and bring him back. After that, Ning Fan obtained 2 ancient books. They were the first volume of the Record of the North Divine Pill and the second volume of the Record of the North Divine Pill. Both of them were collected by Immortal Emperor Ziwei when he was still alive. They recorded the pill recipes and experiences of many pill refinement masters of the true world. On the third day of the Peach Blossom Spring, 4 half-saint realm cultivators broke into the Peach Blossom Spring at the same time. Then, Ning Fan seized 4 stalks of ancient herbs. The 4th day, the 5th day, and the 6th day. Gradually, the number of fools who came to the door decreased. Everyone realized that Ning Fan was not someone they could provoke. Gradually, there were no longer people who came to cause trouble for him. On the 7th day, Ning Fan finally healed Ji Fuyao's demon soul. That's right. He had already found out the name and identity of this lady from the Peach Demons. She was a member of the Feng Nu clan, the guardian of the North Myrtle Palace, and a member of a foreign race in the North Border River, Ji Fuyao. Although Ji Fuyao's demon soul had recovered, he was still in a coma. However, he gradually began to talk in his sleep, intermittently. Sometimes he would call out, Imperial Father, Imperial Mother, and sometimes, Master. On the 10th day, Ji Fuyao, who had been unconscious for many days, finally woke up. Ji Fuyao woke up, but the Ant Lord in Ning Fan's Sea of Consciousness was still unconscious. Water. As soon as she woke up, she asked Ning Fan for water. Ning Fan expressionlessly passed her a gourd of spirit spring water. The useless gourd in his storage pouch was just right for him to use. Thank you. Ji Fuyao's head was still a little dizzy. Her demon soul received the spirit spring water and gulped it down a few mouthfuls. Only then did she feel a little more awake. After she woke up, she realized that Ning Fan, who was sitting beside her, looked very familiar. It's Senior who saved me. You called me Senior? Ning Fan was surprised and fell into deep thought. Did I call you Senior? Then I'll call you Benefactor. Benefactor is also not right. Ji Fuyao felt a little awkward. Young Master, Lord, King. Ji Fuyao became a little anxious when she realized that no matter how she addressed Ning Fan, she still felt more and more awake. How could she not know that the person who saved her was Ning Fan? The favor of saving her life was very important, but she couldn't even figure out how to address him. If she made him unhappy because of this, she wouldn't be able to rest easy. Are all the people of the Feng Nu clan as stupid as you? You should call this Lord Great Minister of War. The patriarch of the Peach Demon clan could no longer stand it anymore. Incidentally, he had been serving Ning Fan's tea like a servant during these days when he was in seclusion. So Senior is Lord Great Minister of War. Please forgive me. Ji Fuyao said inwardly. What's a Great Minister of War? I don't care. I'll just call him a few times to make Senior happy. Ning Fan shook his head and sighed. Don't call me Great Minister of War. Then, it's better to call you Senior. Ji Fuyao answered respectfully. She did not dare to put on the airs of a queen. In front of such a senior, what was a queen of a clan? Don't you remember what happened before? What do you mean, Senior? Ji Fuyao asked cautiously. You called me Master before. I'm very curious as to why you called me that. I have some guesses, but I need to verify them with you. Ah, Senior is saying that I called you Master before? I don't remember that. Ji Fuyao was stunned. He could not remember that he had called him that before. You did call him that. At that time, when you were at your wits' end, you called our Great Minister of War bitterly. If it weren't for the fact that things were so fishy, why would our Great Minister of War have provoked the Pill Devil clan for you? Why would he start a massacre and stir up trouble in the mortal world? Tao Wanyan interrupted with a displeased expression. I really don't remember that. I've been prone to hysteria since I was young. I often talk nonsense in the day. I guess it was because of that. He became even more cautious. If it's hysteria, then forget it. Since that's the case, I'll ask you one more thing. Ning Fan seemed to want to ask something else. However, at this moment, Ji Fuyao suddenly closed his eyes and hugged his head while groaning. Soon the pain stopped. When he opened his eyes again, however, his eyes shone with a domineering aura that looked down on the world. Ji Fuyao let out a soft cry of surprise. He looked at his own demon soul body and suddenly laughed heartily. Ha! I'm out. I'm actually out. So what if I'm suppressed by 10 eras? So what if I'm dismembered? You damned bird. You didn't expect that I would encounter a remnant soul of a parallel reincarnation, right? What are you shouting for, Ji Fuyao? What do you think this peach blossom spring is? This is the sacred land of my clan. How can you make a fuss here? Be careful or I'll teach you a lesson. Tao Wanyan was annoyed when he saw Ji Fuyao yelling in pain and making a fuss. The only one who has the right to make a fuss in the Peach Blossom Spring is the Great Minister of War. Who do you think you are? Insolent. Who do you think you are? How dare you teach me a lesson? Also, my name, Ji Fuyao, was bestowed by my master. Is it something you can call as you wish? Rumble that it was as if the might of the heavens had descended all of a sudden, pressing Tao Wanyan to the ground and making him eat mud. No matter how hard he tried, he could not stand up under such pressure. The saint's might is fake, right? Great Minister of War, run. There's something wrong with this Ji Fuyao. Tao Wanyan trembled. It was his first time witnessing the might of a saint with his own eyes. He could not understand why the current queen of the Feng Nu clan possessed the might of a saint out of nowhere. It was simply unimaginable. Even though he was extremely terrified of the might of a saint, he did not forget Ning Fan's comforting words. He kept shouting, Great Minister of War, run. If you don't run now, it'll be too late. Of course, it was impossible for Ning Fan to run away. Seeing the saint's might erupt from Ji Fuyao's body, Ning Fan was even more certain of his guess. Isn't this fellow Taoist Ning? You're here too. Ji Fuyao only realized that Ning Fan was also here after giving Tao Wanyan some advice. When she thought about how she was repeatedly bullied by Ning Fan after being tied up with him day and night, she felt a toothache. She wanted to raise her hand on the spot to repay him. However, she had experienced a lot of things with Ning Fan after all. Their relationship had become better, and she had also obtained a lot of benefits from him during the incident with the virtuous umbrella. At this moment, when she saw Ning Fan looking at her with a faint smile, she could not bring herself to beat this detestable bastard up no matter what. Forget it. I'm in a good mood today. I won't argue with you about what happened in the past. However, from today onwards, you and I will go our separate ways. We don't owe each other anything and won't interfere with each other's business. Then goodbye. Fellow Taoist Ning, it hurts so much. The grade of this remnant soul is actually higher than mine. It can actually resist me. However, Ji Fuyao closed his eyes and groaned in pain again. A few moments later, he opened his eyes again. When he saw Ning Fan's faint smile and Tao Wanyan lying on the ground in a disheveled manner, looking at him as if he was a monster, he could not help but feel puzzled. Senior, I seem to be having a fit of hysteria just now. I didn't do anything rude, did I? Ji Fuyao asked cautiously. No. Ning Fan smiled mysteriously. As for the Ant Lord who had been sleeping in his sea of consciousness for a long time, he woke up at the right time. As soon as he woke up, he was so angry that he rolled on the ground. No, his sea of consciousness. Damn it. I've already gotten rid of that detestable Ning Fan. Why did he come back? I'm so angry. As expected, seeing this scene, Ning Fan's guess was further confirmed. When he looked at Ji Fuyao again, his eyes became even more inexplicable. As expected, this lady is another remnant soul of the Ant Lord. As for why she called him master, we'll definitely find out in the future. There's no need to force an answer now. Chapter 1246. In the 10th Palace of the Z-Wei North Palace, Longevity God Palace. In the blink of an eye, Ning Fan had already stayed in seclusion for 15 days in the Peach Blossom Spring. After all, he had the body of a fiend god. He only used 15 days to completely absorb the medicinal power of the 10th Revolution pill without wasting a single bit of it. A 10th Revolution 8C's pill was extremely beneficial to Ning Fan's water element cultivation. Ning Fan's Rain Sovereign Realm had just reached the mid-attack realm not long ago. Under normal circumstances, it would be difficult for him to make another breakthrough within a short period of time. However, who asked him to eat a 10th Revolution pill? His Rain Sovereign Realm power, which had just stepped into the mid-attack realm, had advanced by more than half to the Grand Completion realm. Even Ning Fan himself was shocked by the medicinal power of the 10th Revolution pill. A mere 10th Revolution 8C's pill could already improve his cultivation to this extent. If he gets another 10th Revolution 8C's pill, wouldn't he directly reach the Grand Completion realm of the Rain Sovereign Realm? Rain Dragon appear. Ning Fan gave an order indifferently. The sky above the Peach Blossom Spring suddenly turned into a storm. Within the storm, a half-real and half-illusory rain dragon broke out of the rain and roared at the sky. All of a sudden, the entire Peach Blossom Spring and even the entire Longevity God Palace began to tremble. When the peach demons of the Longevity God Palace saw this strange phenomenon, their hearts were filled with awe. How could they not know that the roaring rain dragon was Ning Fan practicing his ability? The immortal emperor of the Wine Demon clan who came to the Longevity God Palace to cause trouble a few days ago was bitten to death by this rain dragon? 2 dragons, 3 dragons, 4 dragons, 5 dragons, 6 dragons, appear. Ning Fan gave another order and more rain dragons appeared in the wind and rain. Where did the other 5 rain dragons come from? When Ning Fan was in seclusion, he had devoured all of the other 5 rain dragons that he had caught previously. If true Lord North Sea knew that the 6 rain dragons that he had painstakingly cultivated in his lifetime were all taken by Ning Fan, he would probably die of anger. 6 dragons was the limit of true Lord North Sea's lifetime of cultivation, but it was not Ning Fan's limit. The 7th dragon appear. The 8th dragon appear. The 9th dragon appear. Ning Fan gave another order. The number of rain dragons in the sky increased to 9. Among the 9 rain dragons, Ning Fan snatched the first 6 from True Monarch Northern Sea, while the last 3 were obtained with the help of the 10 Revolutions 8C's pill. In other words, a single 10 Transformations 8C's pill could offset half of True Monarch Beihai's lifetime of hard cultivation. It could be seen how powerful a 10 Transformations pill was. Return. Ning Fan gave another command and the 9 rain dragons returned to his body. Ji Fuyao's demon soul that served at the side shuddered with fear and reverence when he witnessed this scene. He said in his heart that even if he fought with his life on the line, he would absolutely be unable to defeat a single rain dragon, let alone 9. Senior's methods are indeed terrifying. Senior, thank you for your hard work. Please have some tea. Seeing that Ning Fan had finished his cultivation, Ji Fuyao's small hand obediently served him a cup of peach blossom tea. The peach blossoms in this tea were not ordinary. They were the peach blossoms that bloomed from the peach blossom ancient peach tree in the peach blossom spring. The peach blossoms could restore the power of the mind. After a cultivator went into seclusion and drank a cup of peach blossom tea, all their exhaustion would be instantly swept away. You're quite considerate. Ning Fan took the yuan peach tea and drank it. He only felt that his mind was at ease and he could not help but smile. This tea is not bad. The Peach Demon Clan leader wants me to tell Senior that if Senior likes this tea, Senior can take the peach blossom from the peach blossom spring. There's no need to be polite. After all, Senior is the incomparably respected Grand Minister of the Mountains and Seas. I'm not the Great Minister of Mountains and Seas. Forget it. Ning Fan shook his head and was too lazy to explain further. The Peach Demon Clan head also said that he heard that Senior is searching for the fragments of the unparalleled rumor. He decided to personally search for all the fragments of the Longevity God Palace and present them to Senior. Right now, he is leading the Peach Demon Clan to search for the fragments of the Longevity God Palace. In just a few days, he will be able to present them to Senior. I've already said it countless times. I'm not the Great Minister of Mountains and Seas. These peach demons really don't need to flatter me like this. Ning Fan felt helpless. I heard that you're looking for Polylore Unparalleled's fragment, Senior? What does Senior want a pile of fragments for? It doesn't matter if this treasure is destroyed. Due to its high grade, it'll be hard to restore it even if you find all the fragments. Ji Fuyao was puzzled and asked cautiously. I naturally have my own use for the fragments I'm looking for. Even though Ning Fan could vaguely sense that this lady shared a great deal of karma with him, he had not known her for long after all. Thus, he did not plan to tell her everything. According to the information he obtained, in the past, a group of devils from the Devil Conferral Summit had once invaded the North Star Palace. At that time, there was an old demon who called himself Duo One who repelled the group of devils. However, he also lost his life in the process. That demon who was called Duo One was the demon that unparalleled rumor, one of the 4 divine treasures of the North Star Palace, had transformed into. After a long period of time, even the divine treasures had gained spiritual intelligence. That unparalleled rumor who wholeheartedly protected the North Star Palace ended up dying a tragic death in the end. How tragic was it? Losing his life and turning back into his original form, wasn't it tragic? His original form, the divine treasure unparalleled rumor, was broken into 108 fragments and scattered all over the North Star Palace. Wasn't it tragic? When Ning Fan first learned that unparalleled rumors was destroyed, he was rather disappointed. However, he soon had a new idea. Why didn't he find the fragments of unparalleled rumors and restore it? The combination of the 4 divine weapons of Z-Wei was at the level of opening the heavens. Even if they were separated, they would still be at a very high level. In order to repair these magic treasures, one would need countless immortal materials. Not even a demi-saint could afford it. However, it was not a problem for Ning Fan. He had the ancient country trading formation. If he really has any repair materials that he could not gather, he could use this formation to purchase them. In the end, he decided to find all the fragments of much knowledge and repair them. The 12th palace, the Wood Palace, did not contain any fragments of Polylore. However, in the 11th palace, the Great Fire Palace, Ning Fan found 5 fragments. As for this Longevity God Palace, Ning Fan picked up a piece of stone from the ground. After conversing with it for a while, he muttered to himself. So that's how it is. In this Longevity God Palace, there are 7 fragments of much knowledge. Ji Fuyao was dumbfounded. Why was his senior chatting with a rock out of nowhere? Could it be that Senior's mind was somewhat muddled by the impact of the medicinal power of the 10 Revolution pill? No. Senior is my savior. How can I criticize Senior in my heart? Senior is an expert. The thoughts of an expert are not something that ordinary people like me can understand. That must be the case. While Ji Fuyao was thinking about the meaning behind Ning Fan's actions, he suddenly felt a sharp pain. Then, the look in his eyes changed and his personality changed. At the same time, the Ant Lord in Ning Fan's sea of consciousness fell into a deep slumber again. This is great. I'm out again. Ji Fuyao burst into laughter and released his saint aura without restraint. The Longevity God Palace immediately began to tremble again. How terrifying! That Ji Fuyao is acting up again. After sensing this, the peach demons in the Longevity God Palace were filled with awe. During these days, they had already seen Ji Fuyao acting up a few times. Each time, his aura force would be so peerless and terrifying. Alright, withdraw your aura force. The commotion you caused was too big. You actually wasted half a pot of tea, Ning Fan said with a frown. On the stone table at the side, more than half of the yuan peach tea that Ji Fuyao had served previously had spilled out due to the tremors. All of it had been wasted. I'll accept it just because you want me to. Who do you think I am? Ji Fuyao retorted angrily. However, she still withdrew her Saint Aura force unwillingly. That's right. Ji Fuyao was no longer the one controlling her body. The one controlling her body was the Ant Lord. Isn't it just half a pot of tea? It's not a big deal. Hiss. It's actually yuan peach tea. Ji Fuyao casually glanced at the teapot on the stone table. As soon as he did so, his face immediately lit up with joy. It's actually yuan peach tea. This is a good thing. The medicinal effect of this item is secondary. The key is that this item can show off one's identity. In the myriad worlds, there are only 3 places that can produce yuan peach blossoms. The number of yuan peach blossoms is too little. Once they are produced, all of them will be kept in the treasury of the Mountains and Seas Division. Then, the division will distribute them to the experts of St. Defire from the 3 great true worlds. That's right. This yuan peach tea has always been a special tea for St. Defire. You're really something. You're monopolizing the 4th step tribute tea all by yourself. You actually don't know how to share such a good thing with me. What a waste of our relationship of life and death. Ji Fuyao let out a soft snort. Her demon soul body directly sat on the table. She held the teapot with her small hands and gulped down the tea. She seemed to be enjoying it very much. Unfortunately, before she could enjoy it for long, the personalities in her body switched again. Ji Fuyao's eyes gradually became clear. When she saw her demon soul body sitting directly on the stone table and drinking tea from the teapot, she was instantly shocked. I'm actually having a hysterical episode. How rude of me. It's all right. Your demon soul has just recovered. You can rest here for a while. I have some matters to attend to. I'll be back soon. During these days, Ning Fan had seen the switching of Ji Fuyao and the Ant Lord's personalities many times. He was already used to it. Thus, he did not plan to pay much attention to this matter. At this moment, he had already absorbed all of the medicinal power in his body. It was time for him to search for the fragment of abundant knowledge in the Longevity God Palace. Ning Fan walked out of the Peach Blossom Spring. As soon as he stepped out of the door, he coincidentally bumped into Tao Wanyan. It was unknown what Tao Wanyan had gone through today. At this moment, his face was covered in dirt and he looked very miserable. As soon as he saw Ning Fan, he carefully presented 6 fragments of abundant knowledge to him as if he was presenting a treasure. I'm ashamed to face Lord Great Minister of War. I've searched the entire Longevity God Palace thoroughly, but I only managed to find 6 fragments. There's still one that I couldn't get. Your clan has already shown great kindness by helping me find 6 fragments. Why do you need to blame yourself? Ning Fan kept the 6 fragments and planned to give Tao Wanyan some benefits as a form of gratitude. His action made Tao Wanyan's face turn pale. Great Minister of War, please don't make things difficult for us. Even if we die 10,000 times, we won't dare to accept the things of Great Minister of War. Who dares to accept the things of the Mountain and Sea Division? I'm not yours. Yes, yes, yes. Lord is not the Great Minister of War. Lord must have come here to patrol in disguise. It's better not to make it public. I understand. I understand. Ning Fan's head began to ache again. He shook his head and said, forget it. Where's the last fragment now? I'll go and get it myself. What? How can you do that? The last fragment fell into the depths of the wood miasma. The wood miasma inside is strong enough to melt an immortal emperor into a pool of blood. Even a quasi-saint realm expert would find it difficult to enter. Senior, please reconsider. You can't enter such a dangerous place just for a mere fragment. Tao Wanyan became anxious after hearing what Ning Fan said. How would he dare to let Ning Fan get injured in the territory of his Peach Demon clan? Wouldn't the Mountain and Sea Division punish him heavily after this? The depths of the wood miasma? It's all right. If it's just the wood miasma, I'm not afraid. Seeing Ning Fan being so insistent, Tao Wanyan had no choice but to brace himself and bring Ning Fan to the place where the seventh fragment was. This place was a naturally formed pool of wood qi. The wood qi on the surface of the pool had not melted for many years, and it had actually condensed into wood miasma. Even an immortal emperor would die if they accidentally enter it. The seventh fragment fell at the bottom of the pool. Tao Wanyan had tried everything he could, but he could not get it out. What a dense wood qi! Ning Fan's eyes lit up. That's right. The wood qi here has not melted for many years, and it has already turned into wood miasma. Even an immortal emperor wouldn't dare to. This. Before Tao Wanyan could finish his words, his eyes suddenly became filled with disbelief. He saw Ning Fan directly open his mouth and devour the miasma in large gulps. The miasma was enough to kill an immortal emperor. However, to Ning Fan, it was like a great supplement. Not only did it not harm him at all, but it also made him look radiant and full of vigor. After a long time, Ning Fan absorbed all the wood qi in this place and took out the seventh fragment. What level of wood cultivation base is this? Division Master? Source of Tao law? No. It's at least a Tao orthodoxy. In the Mountain and Sea Division, those who could cultivate a Tao orthodoxy were all division masters. Could it be? Could it be? This lord isn't a heavenly official of the great minister of war, but an existence at the level of division master. No wonder this person refuses to admit that he is the great minister of war. The more Tao Wanyan looked at Ning Fan, the more he felt that Ning Fan was like a division master. He could not help but kneel on the ground with a thud. This subordinate has eyes but failed to see. I actually didn't know that Lord is a dignified division master. Please forgive me, division master. Ning Fan looked at Tao Wanyan helplessly. In the end, he chose to ignore him. He had already found all the fragments of the Longevity Star Palace. There was no point in staying here any longer. Ning Fan planned to leave the Longevity Star Palace and head to the ninth palace, the Quail Tail Palace. Seeing that Ning Fan was about to leave, how could Tao Wanyan be willing to let him go? Ji Fuyao also looked like he wanted to say something but hesitated, as if he had something to ask of Ning Fan. Lord Division Master, please wait. You can't go back empty-handed. Tao Wanyan mustered his courage and stopped Ning Fan. I can't go back empty-handed? Ning Fan was stunned. Lord Division Master, please allow me to report. The number of peach tributes that my clan owes is more than 100 billion. However, this isn't my clan's original intention. It's because of the accumulation of over 40 reincarnations. We have been forgotten by the Mountain and Sea Division for over 40 reincarnations. How can we gather all the peach tributes we owe in just one night? It's not that we're unwilling, but we're really incapable. So we plan to pay the redemption fee. Redemption fee? What do you mean? Lord, why do you ask when you already know the answer? Even though the laws of the Mountain and Sea Division are strict, it doesn't mean that they can't make an exception. For people like us who have delayed the payment of the tribute, we just need to pay the same amount of redemption fee and we can be absolved of our crimes. Over 40 reincarnations and 100 billion of peach tributes will need at least 100,000 taels of heavenly Tao gold if converted into redemption fee. However, my clan doesn't have any heavenly Tao gold and silver. How can we afford to pay the redemption fee? So, Ning Fan was puzzled by what he heard. That's why I want to borrow Lord's ancient country trading formation to sell some things in secret and gather some atonement money. Ancient country trading formation? What's that? Ning Fan asked with a puzzled expression. The ancient country trading formation was a secret. How could he tell others about it? Why are you evading it? You're the division master. How can you not know about this formation? Oh, I understand now. Of course, I can't use your trading formation for such illegal transactions. Otherwise, it will be troublesome when the Mountain and Sea Division checks the accounts in the future. What the hell is this? Ning Fan was speechless. I know. In this Longevity Star Palace, there's also a former location of the trading formation. It was left behind by venerated Z-Wei. Unfortunately, it has been too long and many parts of the formation have been damaged. It's really a pity. You just need to repair this formation slightly and you can use it to carry out transactions with the identity of venerated Z-Wei. In the future, when the Mountain and Sea Division checks the accounts, they won't be able to find anything related to venerated Z-Wei. Of course, there's no problem. In that case, you can't evade it anymore, can you? Venerated Z-Wei was naturally referring to immortal sovereign Z-Wei. When Ning Fan heard that there was actually a former location of the trading formation left behind by immortal sovereign Z-Wei in this place, his interest was immediately piqued. Do you want to go and have a look at the former location of the trading formation first? Tao Wanyin asked respectfully. Let's go and have a look. Seeing that Ning Fan agreed to this matter, Tao Wanyin was instantly overjoyed. He led Ning Fan all the way to the main hall of the Longevity Star Palace. Among the 100 fruits, the peach was the symbol of longevity. At first glance, the appearance of the main hall of the Longevity Star Palace was like a gigantic immortal peach. In the past, immortal sovereign Z-Wei planted the peaches here. Other than having to submit a portion to the Mountain and Sea Division as usual, the rest were kept for himself. Those that could not be used up were sold off one by one. Because he often needed to sell peach blossoms and fruits, immortal sovereign Z-Wei often set up a trading formation in the Longevity Star Palace. Even today, the old formation of the immortal sovereigns still remained in this place. Of course, this formation was already broken and there was not a single trace of qi left. Those who did not know about the ancient country's trading formation would not be able to imagine that it was the famous ancient country's trading formation even if they saw the ruins of the ancient formation with their own eyes. However, the Peach Demon clan knew about this secret. Some of them might ask, what is the use of a mere broken formation of a trading formation? Its use is just too great. If there is someone who knows about the trading formation and can repair it, they can use the identity of immortal sovereign Z-Wei to carry out inter-regional transactions. With Ning Fan's transaction authority, there were many things that he could not buy through the ancient country's trading formation. However, immortal sovereign Z-Wei was different. As long as a dignified fourth-step expert has money, there is nothing that he cannot buy. There is no special privilege that he cannot use. As long as he has money, he can buy anything. He can even buy Sage Realm spiritual puppets. Then, some of them would ask again. According to the usage convention of the ancient country's trading formation, the person who sets up the formation would usually erase the original formation after using it to prevent others from stealing the formation. Why didn't he erase the formation that immortal sovereign Z-Wei had used after using it? Why did he leave it here for the future generations to steal it? It was because this Longevity God Palace was immortal sovereign Z-Wei's home. It would be troublesome to erase the formation in his own home. It would be better to leave it here. Next time when he needs to use the formation, he would just need to activate it. How convenient would that be? As for the matter of others stealing the formation after his death, perhaps immortal sovereign Z-Wei would never have thought that he would be killed one day. How would he care about what would happen after his death? Is this the trading formation that immortal sovereign Z-Wei set up? It seems to be very different from mine. Ning Fan carefully studied immortal sovereign Z-Wei's trading formation. The more he looked at it, the more shocked he became. Immortal sovereign Z-Wei's trading formation was so complicated that it was unimaginably complicated. Ning Fan only took a quick glance at it and he felt that it was ancient and obscure. He could not understand it at all. His eyes glowed with green light as he tried to use his heavenly man vision to study the formation. However, it was still fine if he did not activate his heavenly man vision. As soon as he activated it, he felt as if his mind and spirit were about to be devoured by the formation. He was greatly shocked. He immediately withdrew his mind and no longer dared to use his heavenly sight to study the formation. My lord, do you have the confidence to repair this formation? Seeing Ning Fan's pale expression, Tao Wanyin was extremely worried. I can give it a try. Ning Fan did not give a definite answer. Upon hearing Ning Fan's reply, Tao Wanyin could not help but feel disappointed. It seemed like the method that he had thought of with great difficulty was going to fail. However, Tao Wanyin soon became overjoyed because Ning Fan really managed to repair this dilapidated formation after fiddling with it for a long time. The damaged parts of this trading formation were mostly at the edges. The formation principles involved were not much different from ordinary trading formations. Ning Fan naturally could repair it. However, if the important parts are damaged, he would not be able to help even if he wanted to. Lord Supervisor is really a peerless genius. You can even repair venerated Z-Wei's secret trading formation. If that's the case, I have one more thing that I would like to ask you to do for me. Tao Wanyin pleaded. What is it? I would like to ask you to take control of this formation and sell all these items in exchange for gold and silver. It's not that I don't want to sell them myself. It's just that I don't know how to use this trading formation. Besides, I heard that the activation of this formation requires gold and silver from the Heavenly Tao. We are just ordinary peach demons. How would we have any gold and silver from the Heavenly Tao? If we do, would we still need to sell these items to atone for our sins? While speaking, Tao Wanyin took out a large pile of ancient items from his storage pouch. While taking them out, he introduced them to Ning Fan. This is the chamber pot that venerated Z-Wei used to kill the giant of Wing Country and cut off his head. What a ferocious chamber pot. Even a devil lord like Ning Fan found it a little hard to endure the baleful chi it emitted. This chamber pot? Oh no, the owner of this head. What kind of cultivation base did he have when he was still alive? Could he be a saint? Unfortunately, this chamber pot had already been destroyed by immortal sovereign Z-Wei. To others, it no longer had any value. However, it might be of great use to those who had designs on the giant of Wing Country. This is the head ornament used by venerated Z-Wei's 7th favorite concubine when she was still alive. Head ornaments were accessories. Even though this accessory was exquisite, it was not a magic treasure. Thus, its value should not be too high. This is the peeling knife that venerated Z-Wei used to eat peaches. Other people eat peaches with their skin on. However, rumor has it that venerated Z-Wei has mysophobia and she doesn't eat fruits with their skin on. This ordinary-looking small bronze knife was actually a high-grade innate magic treasure. However, it did not have any offensive power. It only had one ability, peeling off the skin of an immortal fruit without damaging the medicinal effect of the fruit. It was really a useless magic treasure. And this one, a dazzling array of treasures was placed on the ground. Ning Fan took a closer look at them and was speechless when he realized that none of these treasures were useful to him even though they had astonishing origins. Since they were going to be sold anyway, Ning Fan did not plan to snatch the treasures of these peach demons. So what if they were useful or not? There was only one point. These items were useless. Could they really be sold for money? Ning Fan was a little uncertain. However, looking at Tao Wanyin's expectant expression, he really could not say anything to discourage him. Lord Superintendent, can we start now? Tao Wanyin asked carefully. You two go out first. I will start now. Ning Fan said to Tao Wanyin and Ji Fuyao. Obviously, he did not plan to let others watch when he activates the formation. Yes. Tao Wanyin and Ji Fuyao left the Longevity God Palace obediently. Ning Fan sat at the center of the formation of the Longevity God Palace. He took out some Heavenly Tao gold and activated the formation. Very soon, the light of the formation crossed the boundless space and time and connected with the heaven-reaching sect. Immortal Sovereign Z-Wei's trading formation had not been activated for a long time. Therefore, when it was activated this time, no one came to receive Ning Fan even after a long time. Perhaps the disciples of the heaven-reaching sect sensed Immortal Sovereign Z-Wei's trading formation, but they did not know how to deal with it. An immortal sovereign who had been dead for countless years suddenly initiated a trade. No matter how one thought about it, it was a little scary. If this matter were to be spread, it would probably cause a huge uproar in the entire true world. Ning Fan waited and waited. He did not know how long he had waited. Finally, the light of the formation flickered. At the same time, A voice traveled across the formation from the boundless space and time. Are you the descendant of venerated Ziwei? The one who asked the question was an unusually old voice that seemed to have experienced the vicissitudes of life. I'm not. Ning Fan replied. There's no need to deny it. Venerated Ziwei is already dead. I won't go so far as to demand revenge from his descendant for a single palm strike in the past. That old voice said indifferently. Who is the old man in front of me? He actually has a grudge against immortal sovereign Ziwei? Could it be that he is still alive after receiving a palm strike from immortal sovereign Ziwei? Just as Ning Fan was guessing, the Ant Lord in his sea of consciousness was stunned. This voice belongs to third senior brother. The Ant Lord's emotions began to stir. She wanted to break free from Ning Fan's sea of consciousness and walk out to talk to her third senior brother. However, she could not do so. Who else could the Ant Lord's third senior brother be? Of course, it was the sect master of the heaven-reaching sect, the Heavenly Reaching Sage. The Heavenly Reaching Sage was the one who personally received him in the immortal sovereign trading formation. Since Ning Fan knew that the person who received him was the Heavenly Reaching Sage, he could not help but feel a little worried. Fortunately, the other party did not notice the existence of the Ant Lord at all, and she did not harbor any hostility towards Ning Fan. Descendant of Ziwei, what do you want to buy? The Heavenly Reaching Sage asked. I won't buy anything for the time being. I have some things here that I want to sell to your cult. As soon as he heard that Ning Fan was actually here to sell something and all the things he wanted to sell were the relics of immortal sovereign Ziwei, the Heavenly Reaching Sage immediately felt a little displeased. You are the descendant of venerated Ziwei. How can you sell the relics of your ancestor at such a low price? Originally, he planned to give some face to the descendant of Ziwei out of consideration for venerated Ziwei. Therefore, he personally received Ning Fan. Now, however, he was angry at the descendant of Ziwei for being unfilial and was unwilling to receive Ning Fan anymore. Thus, the Heavenly Reaching Sage left and another person came to receive Ning Fan. May I know what fellow Taoist wants to sell? The second person who received him was obviously not someone on the same level as the Heavenly Reaching Sage. Facing the trading formation of immortal sovereign Ziwei, he was a little fearful even though the Ning Fan he was facing was not the real Ziwei sage. Let's sell this chamber pot first. How much is it worth? Ning Fan sent the information about the chamber pot of the giant of Wing Country to the person who received him. At first, when the person heard that Ning Fan wanted to sell chamber pots, he could not help but feel a little disdainful. However, when he saw that the chamber pot was actually made from the skull of the sage of Wing Country, he was first shocked and then he was overjoyed. Good news! Good news! The ancestors' remains that the venerated sovereign of Wing Country offered as a reward has actually been found in this place. This chamber pot can be sold for 30,000 gold ingots. Ning Fan was astonished. A chamber pot can also be sold for 30,000 gold ingots. Just the skull of a sage who had destroyed all samsara is worth so much. Chapter 1247. The chamber pot of the giants of the Wing Country that Ning Fan did not think highly of was sold at a high price of 30,000 gold coins. Since they used the immortal emperor trading formation, the Heavenly Reaching Church paid 10 taels of heavenly Dao gold each. Looking at the pile of gold ingots in front of him, Ning Fan was momentarily speechless. One had to know that his current wealth was only about 20,000 taels of heaven Dao gold, which was less than a chamber pot. What's with this subtle sense of disparity? Fellow Taoist, do you have anything else to sell? There are a few more. Fellow Taoist, please take a look. What do you think of this? Although this accessory was not a magic treasure, it was quite mysterious. So that was how it was. This object was a wizard artifact, and it was an extremely rare face illusion wizard artifact. It was useless to ordinary people, but to the ugly women, it was a priceless treasure. The females of this clan had suffered a curse for generations. The higher their cultivation, the uglier their appearance would become. No immortal technique or spirit medicine was capable of changing their appearance, and only the beauty illusion shaman artifact could accomplish this. Therefore, this clan's female saint has been bitterly seeking for a face-changing artifact for a long time. It's a pity that she couldn't obtain it. This item is worth 85,000 gold. The feeling of disparity gradually increased. Fellow Taoist, take another look. How much is this paring knife worth? Could this be the last of the 16 treasures of the ancestral Pao? The great sage of cow dismemberment had been studying the art of cooking day and night, and he had already gathered the other 15 tools, except for this one. He had been searching for it bitterly but to no avail, and he had never expected to see it here. It is said that there is a secret behind this item. Don't tell me the story. Just tell me the price. Alright, this item is worth 18,000 gold. How much is this inkstone worth? There was nothing special about the inkstone itself. The problem was that it was made of talent chi stone. The talent chi stone is rare in the world, and it is something that the Confucian saints of the true world can only dream of. This item is worth 54,000 gold. How about this broom? It's actually the worldly weapon of Shizong's fifth patriarch. This item is worth 22,000 gold coins. That in this land deed. Oh? Isn't this the deed of the Lu land issued by the Mountain and Sea Office? Immortal Emperor Ziwei owns 3,122 hectares of farmland in the Mountain and Sea Division. However, because the land deed was lost, no one can inherit the land. This land deed is worth 312,200 gold coins. That's right, I still have some essence peach blossoms here. Oh? Fellow Taoist, are you talking about the origin peach blossom, which is known as Saint Fire Tribute Tea? Fellow Taoist, truth be told, the Mountain and Sea Division is in charge of the circulation of this item. Because of that, we only dare to purchase it in secret. Furthermore, we have to lower the purchase price. At most, we can offer you 350 gold ingots for one tail of peach blossom. Is that acceptable to you? Sure. That's good. How many yuan peach blossoms do you have? About 200 or 300 caddies? Cough, cough, cough. Fellow Taoist, are you joking? Saint Fire Tribute Tea is incredibly rare, so how could you possibly have 1 to 300 kilograms? It's actually real. It's a total of 313 caddies and 12 tails and 9 qian. There were countless immortal kingdoms in the true world, and there were many different types of currencies. Other than immortal jades and Tao crystals, there were also some special currencies in circulation: spirit stones, jade shells, tortoise shells, scale coins, bone coins. There were many different types. Heavenly Tao gold was also a type of currency, but due to its large denomination, it was usually not circulated among low-grade cultivators. It was very common for an immortal king of a true world to possess 3 to 5 taels of heavenly Tao gold. If this immortal king has 30 to 50 taels of heavenly Tao gold, he must be a disciple of a major sect or have some other great fortune. There were very few immortal kings who possessed 300 to 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold. Even if this person had a strong background, the elders of his clan would not allow him to carry such a huge amount of money around. Therefore, it was even more impossible to see an immortal king of a true world with 3,000 to 5,000 taels of heavenly Tao gold. 30 to 50,000 gold taels? Dream on. 300 to 500,000 gold taels? This was already the entire wealth of a minority of virtuous saints. How could an immortal king have it? Then, as the Doomsday Immortal King, how much money did he have? This pile of items was actually sold for 2,270,000 gold taels. Ning Fan stared at the small mountain of gold ingots in front of him with an indescribable expression. He did not expect that the seemingly useless relics of Ziwei could actually be sold at such a high price. Moreover, he did not expect that the Peach Demon clan would not accept the money that he earned for them and insisted on giving it to him. When Tao Wanyan found out that Ning Fan had actually sold a pile of junk for 2,270,000 gold taels, he was completely dumbfounded. He actually had no idea how much heavenly Tao gold there was. He did not know what 27 million gold could buy. He only knew that this amount of money was enough for the Peach Demon tribe to escape punishment 22 times over. Thank you, my lord, for earning the atonement for our clan. Logically speaking, Your Excellency has already done enough for my Peach Demon clan, but this lowly one still wishes to be thick-skinned and trouble Your Excellency once. Sir, please forgive me for my rudeness. I would like to ask Lord Supervisor to bring this sum of money back to the Mountain and Sea Division and help my clan get rid of their crimes. I wonder if this is possible or not. As soon as Tao Wanyan finished speaking, he stared at Ning Fan with a nervous expression, afraid that Ning Fan would reject his request. He was very worried that Ning Fan would not be willing to help the Peach Demon clan escape from punishment. In reality, although paying for a crime was a special case of the Mountain and Sea Division, this special case could not be applied to everything. Whether it could be applied or not depended on the judgment of the division chief. In the Mountain and Sea Division, there were usually 5 people in charge. One of them was the chief, and the other 4 were the deputies. From Tao Wanyan's point of view, it was true that Ning Fan was the division head of the Mountain and Sea Division. However, he was probably just a vice division head and not the division head. After all, the position of chief minister had always been held by women without exception. That was why there was the saying of escaping punishment. If the Peach Demon clan prepared enough atonement money but the chief minister denied their right to get rid of their crimes, all their efforts would be in vain. Bribing Ning Fan and asking him to help them bribe the chief minister was the key. I've said it countless times. I'm not a member of the Mountain and Sea Division. I can't bring your atonement money to this place. Ning Fan said helplessly. Upon hearing his words, Tao Wanyan was so anxious that he nearly cried. My lord, please save us for the sake of my clan's diligent service. This sum of money is 27 million gold. You just need to take 100,000 of it to atone for your crimes. The rest of the money will belong to you. Take it as the money for your tea. Since you've received so much money, isn't it enough to bribe everyone? I don't think the chief minister will make things difficult for you. Could it be that the chief minister has a huge appetite and this amount of money is still far from enough? Please give me a clear answer. Is this amount of money enough for the chief minister to forgive us? Ning Fan felt that it was too strenuous to talk to Tao Wanyan. Thus, he directly ignored his question and went on a daydream. Sure enough, it's still not enough. No wonder you feel troubled and keep rejecting me. It turns out that this is the crux of the problem. However, this is already all that my clan can gather. Whether this matter succeeds or not will depend on the will of the heavens. My lord, you just need to take this money away. Even if my clan can't get rid of our crimes and is executed by the Mountain and Sea Division, we can't blame you. Just like that, the Peach Demon clan inexplicably gave Ning Fan 27 million taels of heavenly Dao gold. He had tried to reject them, but Tao Wanyan would rather commit suicide on the spot than to reject their sincerity in atonement. After a few times, Ning Fan was too lazy to talk nonsense with them and simply accepted the money. Little Ning, remember this. If you don't take the benefits, you're a fool, the old devil's earnest teachings echoed in Ning Fan's ears. Eventually, all of his memories turned into a smile. Master, I'm afraid you've never encountered someone rushing to give you money. I've taken the money from the Peach Demon clan. No matter what, it's impossible for me to atone for their crimes. After all, I'm not a member of the Mountain and Sea Division. However, I can't just take this money for nothing. Ever since I entered the Longevity God Palace, I've been treated well by this clan. Moreover, I'm also using this clan's treasured land for seclusion. I should express my gratitude. Ning Fan was finally going to leave the Longevity God Palace. However, before he left, he wanted to accomplish 2 things. The first thing was to give the Peach Demon clan some benefits. Thus, Ning Fan found Tao Wanyan and said, according to my observation, the ancient yuan peach trees in the Peach Blossom Spring are on the verge of death because their wood chi has dissipated for too long. Because of my arrival, these trees were stained with a small amount of wood chi that I unintentionally leaked out. That's why they look like withered trees receiving a new lease of life. However, it's actually just the final radiance of a setting sun. Once I leave this place, without the nourishment of my wood chi, these ancient yuan peach trees will still wither and die. Do you know about this? Lord Division Master's observation is meticulous. I'm impressed. Humans have their own life and trees have their own death. These ancient yuan peach trees have lived for too long. Their wood chi has already been exhausted. It's expected for them to wither and die. When the yuan peach blossoms, the water is boiled into tea. When the yuan peach bears fruit, it falls to the ground and becomes a demon. We, the yuan peach demons, are transformed from the yuan peach fruits. Therefore, in a sense, this tree is where the inheritance of our clan lies. Once this tree dies, the inheritance of our clan will be cut off and we will eventually go extinct. Tao Wanyan said with a sorrowful expression. The peach demons were only afraid of two things in their lives. Firstly, they would be punished by the Mountain and Sea Division if they owed too many years of tribute. Secondly, once the ancient yuan peach trees wither, the peach demon clan in the Longevity God Palace would gradually decline and eventually go extinct. Don't worry. With me here, this tree won't die. Ning Fan made his move. He showed a rare serious expression and exerted the power of his wood divine spark to its limit. On this day, the wood chi was like a dragon that covered the entire sky and engulfed the entire Longevity God Palace. On this day, all the peach trees in the Longevity God Palace were affected by the power of his divine spark and grew at an insane rate. The trees that were 10 zhang tall grew to 10 zhang tall. The trees that were 10 zhang tall grew to 100 zhang tall. The trees that were 100 zhang tall grew to 1,000 zhang tall. The ancient yuan peach trees that were originally withered were now filled with wood chi by Ning Fan. Tao Wanyan was dumbfounded. He had lived for a lifetime, but he had never heard of such a profound wood cultivation base in this world. This had already surpassed the boundary of the Tao orthodoxy and his understanding. Even when Ning Fan walked out of the peach blossom spring, the peach demons were still stunned on the spot. They could not regain their senses for a long time. As for the peach demon clan's leader, Tao Wanyan, he was completely dumbfounded. He stared at the direction where Ning Fan left and kept muttering to himself. It's not the division master. It's impossible that it's just the division master. Other than the owner of the Mountain and Sea Division, who else could do this and extend the life of the tribute trees conferred by the Mountain and Sea Division? He's not the division master. The Mountain and Sea Lord. Since he helped us and solved the problem of the ancient tree, does it mean that he has forgiven our clan? Our clan has already been absolved of our sins. Of course, it was impossible for Ning Fan to be the Mountain and Sea Lord. The Mountain and Sea Lord was someone else. The moment Ning Fan forcefully saved the ancient yuan peach tree, the owner of the Mountain and Sea Division who was far away in the true world sensed something. He slowly opened his eyes from his deep slumber. He was slightly puzzled. Almost at the same time when the Mountain and Sea Lord opened his eyes, the accumulated snow in the Mountain and Sea Division began to melt. The 4 seasons were within a single thought. This is strange. The peach blossom spring has been missing for a long time. Because it's no longer useful, the vitality of all the tribute trees in this place has been extracted by me. However, at this moment, the tree that was about to die actually regained its vitality. It's impossible for the Mountain and Sea Division to make a mistake. Then, there's only one explanation. Someone has interfered in this matter. Moreover, his Tao of wood is enough to ignore the order of the Mountain and Sea Division. He must have at least a first-grade immortal lattice. Those who have an immortal lattice must be an immortal spirit. However, there's no such person among the immortal spirits that I know. Who exactly is this person? What's the meaning behind his actions? Is he targeting me or is he warning me? In my long samsara, when have I ever offended such a person? My old injuries have yet to heal. If I face this person now, do I have a chance of winning? The Mountain and Sea Lord's face was filled with slight worry. However, it was just a slight worry. He was not an ordinary cultivator of Saint Defire. Even if a powerful enemy really comes to attack him, he would at most lose some of his samsara. However, his subordinates obviously did not think so. When the officials of the Mountain and Sea Division saw the worried expression on the Mountain and Sea Lord's face, all of them were shocked. Since ancient times, the Mountain and Sea Lord had only shown worry 13 times. Every time he showed worry, A powerful enemy of Saint D Fire would definitely come to attack him. This time, it was the 14th time he showed worry. Could it be that another powerful enemy is coming? For a moment, the entire Mountain and Sea Division fell into an unprecedented panic. Rumors kept spreading. Therefore, it did not take long before all the powerful beings in the entire true world heard that the Mountain and Sea Division was in big trouble again. Ning Fan did not know that his unintentional action had caused the dignified Mountain and Sea Lord to worry about him and even caused the entire Mountain and Sea Division to be in a state of chaos. After leaving the Peach Blossom Spring, Ning Fan returned to the main hall of Longevity Star Palace and did the second thing. He took the trading formation left behind by immortal sovereign Zi Wei with him. It was obviously not an easy task to copy a fourth-step formation technique into the formation diagram, even though the formation diagram had been abandoned for countless years and was already worn out. In the beginning, Ning Fan used all of his means, but he still could not copy the formation. Then, he took another path and tried to persuade the formation patiently, trying to make it submit to him on its own. Thus, the following conversation happened. Ning Fan, I'm Ning Fan. Previously, I used Brother Formation to make a trade, but I didn't have the time to talk to you. I hope Brother Formation can forgive me for my rudeness. Zi Wei Trading Formation. I'm not Brother Formation. My formation eye is located in the extreme Yin realm and not the extreme Yang realm. Didn't you teach me a lesson before? Don't you know that? Ning Fan, I'm sorry. I was careless and called you the wrong gender. The Zi Wei Trading Formation. So that's how it is. So you didn't know that I'm a woman. No wonder you were touching everywhere when you were repairing my formation diagram. I thought you were a lecher who was taking advantage of me. Ning Fan, Zi Wei Trading Formation. Are you here to take me away? Ning Fan was a little surprised. How did you know? Zi Wei Trading Formation blushed. What else can I do other than following you after what you did to me? You have to be responsible for me. Even if you didn't say it, I would still follow you. Now that you've taken the initiative to ask me, I'm even happier. At this moment, the Ant Lord was shocked. Since when did Ning Fan do such things to a formation? She actually did not notice it at all. Could it be that this little divine spirit Ning did something to this formation diagram when I was unconscious? That's why I didn't notice it. Beast, you're truly the #1 beast in the world. First you did it to the umbrella, then you did it to the stone. Now, you're even doing it to the formation diagram. The Ant Lord did not check Ning Fan's memories to confirm whether he had really bullied the formation diagram maiden. She was afraid that she would see something filthy and dirty her eyes. And because she did not confirm this matter, Ning Fan unknowingly became a scapegoat. This time, he really did not do anything to the Zi Wei Trading Formation. Only this time, he was really innocent. How could Ning Fan not know what the Ant Lord was thinking? He felt a little helpless for a moment, but he was too lazy to explain. In short, after a short conversation with Zi Wei Trading Formation, Ning Fan easily copied the formation diagram and left. When Ning Fan left the Longevity God Palace, a trace of Demon's Soul followed behind him and left together with him. It was the clan leader of Feng Nu clan, Ji Fuyao. Sensing that Ji Fuyao was following him, Ning Fan stopped and asked, "What's the matter?" "Junior has a request, Senior." Ji Fuyao wanted to say something but stopped. Previously, when she was being chased by the Pill Devils, it was Ning Fan who saved her. After that, he even generously healed the injury of her demon soul. He was extremely benevolent and righteous. Logically speaking, she already owed Ning Fan too much and should not be so thick-skinned as to make a request. However, this matter was related to whether she could avenge her parents. After hesitating for a long time, she finally decided to ask Ning Fan for a favor again. "What do you want from me?" Contrary to his usual behavior, Ning Fan did not reject Ji Fuyao's request immediately. Instead, he asked with a gentle expression. Ning Fan was not a kind person who would easily help strangers. However, this woman had a great deal of karma with him. Perhaps in the distant past or in the distant future, he was really her master. Thus, he decided to listen to her request. "I want to ask Senior to help me find 3 types of medicinal herbs. In fact, I have already found one of them. However, when I was being chased by the pill devils, that medicinal herb was taken away by them due to a moment of carelessness. You want me to help you find the medicinal herbs? What kind of medicinal herbs do you need? As soon as Ji Fuyao heard Ning Fan's question, she felt relieved inwardly. How could she not know that Ning Fan already had the intention to help her? Thus, she said gratefully, I need the soul transforming leaf, the saint extermination grass and the Tao sealing spirit spring. You mean, you want me to buy these 3 items with the ancient country trading formation? Ning Fan smiled meaningfully. Ji Fuyao became anxious and hurriedly explained, the ancient country trading formation? I don't understand what Senior is talking about. Ever since I met Senior, I don't know anything or have seen anything. Please don't worry about this, Senior. She clearly knew about the ancient country trading formation. She also knew that Ning Fan knew the trading method of an ancient country. She also knew that Ning Fan had taken away the immortal Emperor Zi Wei trading formation. Moreover, she also knew that Ning Fan had obtained a large amount of heavenly Tao gold from the Peach Demon clan. However, she had to keep all of these to herself. She understood this logic. If Senior still doesn't feel at ease, you can just plant a restriction on me. Ji Fuyao added. There's no need. I naturally won't feel at ease if it's someone else. However, you are an exception. Ning Fan said indifferently. Ji Fuyao, on the other hand, blushed. Ning Fan's words are too ambiguous. Am I an exception? But why am I an exception? Could it be that Senior has taken a fancy to my looks? If that's the case, as long as Senior can help me find these 3 medicinal herbs, I'm willing. Ji Fuyao originally wanted to say, I'll repay you with my body. However, she immediately recalled that in order to recruit pill refinement masters, she had already made a promise to the myriad clans in the border river. I'm willing to repay anyone who helps me refine the old trader of the Northern Sea to death. What should I do now? Ning Fan activated the mind-reading technique silently, allowing him to see through Ji Fuyao's inner thoughts. Thus, Ning Fan became speechless. This lady seems to be his disciple. Why would he do something to his disciple? This lady is thinking too much. You don't have to repay me with your body. I'll just repay you with money after the matter is over. Ning Fan said indifferently. As Senior, you misunderstood me. That's not what I meant. Ji Fuyao's face became even redder. For some reason, she who had always been cold and aloof could not put on any airs in front of Ning Fan. This feeling was very similar to the feeling she had when she was facing her father and mother. Ning Fan shook his head and did not continue this topic. Instead, he said, if I activate the ancient country trading formation, I should be able to buy the 3 medicinal herbs you mentioned easily. There's no need to spend so much. Senior might not know this, but the 3 types of medicinal herbs that I'm looking for can be found in the North Pole Palace. Indeed, there's no need to use the trading formation to obtain them. Ning Fan nodded. Senior should know that the North Pole Palace has a total of 12 palaces. The holy extinguishing grass that I'm looking for is located in the 11th palace, the Great Fire Palace. That Great Fire Palace is a land of utmost fire in the 10 realms. The holy extinguishing grass grows in that place, the Great Fire Palace? The land of utmost fire in the 10 realms? After hearing what she said, Ning Fan's expression changed slightly. With a thought in his mind, he took out a fiery red lump of soil from the profound Yin world. This is... Ji Fuyao was surprised. She did not know why Ning Fan suddenly took this item out. She carefully studied the lump of soil. When she saw it, her small face was so shocked that she could not close her mouth. How is that a lump of soil? What Ning Fan was holding in his hand was clearly a burning continent of fire. It was not an ordinary continent. It was the land of utmost fire in the 10 realms that Ning Fan had conveniently taken away when he passed by the Great Fire Palace. This was the heavenly dwelling land that immortal sovereign Zi Wei left in the Great Fire Palace. With Ning Fan's cultivation base, he did not have the ability to take away this item, even if it had been without an owner for many years. Who asked Ning Fan to be so good at chatting? He went to chat with the land of utmost fire in the 10 realms. After chatting for a while, the land took the initiative to come to him. Hence, Ning Fan placed this piece of land in the profound Yin world. All of a sudden, the fire spiritual vein in the profound Yin world became extraordinarily strong. Whoever was a fire cultivator in the cauldron would have their cultivation speed increase by more than 10 times. After all, this was a fire vein that could only be found in an average of 1 out of 10 boundless worlds. It was not strange at all for it to have such a miraculous effect. As the lord of the profound Yin world, Ning Fan naturally received the blessings of the utmost fire of the 10 realms. While his fire cultivation speed increased by more than 10 times, the power of his fire attribute abilities also skyrocketed. Senior, could it be that you are a saint? Otherwise, how would you be able to take away the land of utmost fire in the 10 realms? Many outsiders have entered the North Pole Palace in recent years, but none of them could do this. Ji Fuyao was dumbfounded. I'm not a saint. That's not the main point. The main point is that the medicinal herb that you want should still be growing here. I have not touched it before. Go and look for it. It should still be there. Hence, with Ning Fan's help, Ji Fuyao turned into a ray of light and flew towards the small piece of soil. Not long after, she flew out from the soil with an additional saint vanquishing grass in her flower basket. Aren't you going to pick a few more? It's enough. Ji Fuyao quickly waved her hand. What a joke. She already owed Senior a medicinal herb. How could she take more? Moreover, 1 stalk is really enough. Where are the other 2? Ning Fan asked again. The soul-transforming leaf is in the Quail Tail Palace. As for the Tao Sealing Spirit Spring, it's in the Star Order Palace. After hesitating for a while, Ji Fuyao still mentioned the Star Order Palace as if it was an extremely dangerous place. The Quail Tail Palace and the Star Order Palace? Huh? I got it. Ning Fan nodded. After all, he still had to search the entire North Pole Palace to find the fragments of polylore unparalleled. It was not a big deal for him to help Ji Fuyao find the required medicinal herbs along the way. Senior, the Star Order Palace is very dangerous. The Quail Tail Palace is also very dangerous. As a matter of fact, every palace in this place is very dangerous. Ji Fuyao felt rather apologetic. She had dragged her senior into danger. She owed him too much, and she didn't know how to repay him. How could it be possible to pay with gold? Furthermore, after Senior's previous transactions, how could he possibly lack money? It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was the wealthiest person in the Purple Mountain Battle Sea. It's fine. You just need to follow behind me. Don't worry. Ning Fan smiled casually and left the Longevity God Palace with his little follower, Ji Fuyao, entering the Quail Tail Palace. The Quail Tail Palace was the territory of Pill Devils. Almost as soon as Ning Fan stepped into this place, the Pill Devils sensed his arrival. At the same time, Ning Fan withdrew his casual smile. His eyes were as cold as a devil's. How dare you? You killed the Sea Devil General and his men, yet you still dare to step into the Quail Tail Palace. Do you really think that we Pill Devils are weak? At the next moment, countless black shadows with towering devil chi rushed towards Ning Fan. Facing the attack of the group of devils, Ning Fan just lifted his finger and 9 rain dragons appeared between heaven and earth. Leave no one alive. Take back all the pills we got. Ning Fan just gave an indifferent order and the rain dragons immediately began their merciless slaughter. Not many pill devils could withstand a single attack from the rain dragons. Most of them would be bitten to death by the rain dragons in just a single move. After all, it was true Sovereign Northern Sea's ultimate technique. Ning Fan did not bother to take out the Virtue Umbrella to kill the enemies. He had already tested the existence of the Virtue Umbrella to attack them. Thus, he did not want to use a butcher's knife to kill chickens. The Virtue Umbrella also had emotions. She was also unwilling to waste her power to deal with some ants. Since Ning Fan was the umbrella's owner, he would be more or less considerate. Chapter 1248. The white waves were connected to the sea, and the sand was vast and boundless. Dusk had passed and morning had come. The East Sea had turned into mulberry fields. Legend had it that there was a sea of void in the east sky called the East Sea. The East Sea was actually a very common name. All the seas in the East could be called the East Sea. There were no less than 1,000 places called the East Sea in the Purple Battle Illusion realm, but only the East Sea was slightly special. This was because the East Sea used to be one of the Tao sites of the East Sky Ancestor Emperor. It had a special meaning to the cultivators of the East Sky. However, the East Sky Ancestor Emperor still died in the end. He was killed by the chaotic Kuan sacred sect because of the heaven sealing technique. After that, the East Sky Ancestor Emperor declined and no longer had many cultivators. There were only tens of thousands of cultivators living in the East Sea now. They were basically the descendants of the East Sky Ancestor Emperor and called themselves the East Sea Clan. In the deepest part of the East Sea, there was a sea eye. It was said that there was an infinite desolate stone gate under it. There were 9 infinite desolate stone gates left behind by immortal Emperor Zido in the Illusion realm. 6 of them were widely known, while the locations of the remaining 3 were unknown. Of the 6 stone gates, 4 of them had already been destroyed. Only the 2 stone gates of the Savage Desolate Ancient region and the Extreme Dan Sacred region could still be passed through. The East Sea Gate had already been destroyed. The East Sea Clan hadn't sent troops to guard this place for too long. However, for some reason, the East Sea Clan sent a large number of troops to guard this place again. It seemed that something big was happening in the Sea Eye. Even the clan leader of the East Sea Clan, Dong Yuni, who was at the end of his lifespan, personally came to the Sea Eye. Ancestor, your great heavenly tribulation is approaching. You shouldn't go out right now. You should stay in your cave residence and prepare for this matter. The juniors of the clan advised. Dong Yuni ignored their advice and only stared at the Sea Eye. When she was young, she was called the East Sea Fairy. Her beauty was the best in the East Sky. Countless cultivators wanted to become Tao companions with her, but her answer was only rejection. She grew old alone, and no one knew why she was like this. Now, she was old and frail, with 1 foot in the grave, but at this time, she met that person again. How joyful! How sorrowful! Old ancestor, the East Sea Eye is too dangerous. Even demi-saints wouldn't dare to enter it. If that senior entered it rashly, I'm afraid he's already. You really don't have to wait any longer. The juniors continued to persuade him. You don't understand. He'll be fine. How could a mere Sea Eye kill him? In the past, even the 3 sea suppressing saints couldn't kill him even after joining hands. He will definitely come out. A look of reminiscence appeared on Dong Yuni's face. He seemed to recall the first time he saw that person countless years ago. It was as if he had encountered a startled swan. Like a lifelong mistake. 3 sea protector sages? Who was that? Is there such a character in the eastern sky? Or is it an expert from the other 3 heavens? The clan's juniors were all at a loss. Dong Yuni only shook his head slightly. He did not tell these juniors that the 3 sea suppressing sages were not cultivators from the illusory world, but powerful warriors from the true world. Speaking of which, who exactly is that senior? The infinite desolate stone gate in the Sea Eye has long been destroyed. Why is he so stubborn and insisted on taking the risk to enter? The younger generation of the clan asked again. Dong Yuni wanted to say the name of that person. In the end, he shook his head and swallowed the 2 words Ancient Chaos. She couldn't tell anyone about Ancient Chaos. She knew him very well. Since Ancient Chaos didn't hesitate to burn his remaining life force to use the yin-yang unpredictable spell, he must have a very important purpose. She couldn't expose Ancient Chaos whereabouts. That's right. Currently, Great Emperor Ancient Chaos was in the eastern sky. Moreover, he was right below the Sea Eye of the Eastern Sea. However, no one knew the true whereabouts of Great Emperor Ancient Chaos. Everything was disrupted by the unpredictable yin-yang. Even the saints could not get rid of this layer of interference. Ning Fan had always thought that Great Emperor Ancient Chaos had already left the eastern sky and headed to the northern heaven. It was because he sensed that Great Emperor Ancient Chaos had been here before at the eastern border river. That was why he made such a judgment. Now that he looked at it again, his deduction was obviously wrong. Seeing that the old ancestor did not want to say more, the juniors obviously did not dare to ask more questions. Instead, they began to talk about other things. I heard that after the Eastern Yama had pacified the foreign races of the Eastern Sky, he suddenly disappeared. That person sure knows his place. If he covets the position of the ancestral emperor of the Eastern Sky because of his achievement in pacifying the border river, our Eastern Sea clan will be the first to not let him go. Our clan's greatest treasure, the Lu Yuan sword, is a magic treasure of the saints. Even though it is already half destroyed, it still has the power to kill an immortal emperor with a single slash. I wonder how many slashes that Eastern Yama can withstand. Speaking of this Lu Yuan sword, we have to talk about our old ancestor. It is said that this Lu Yuan sword is not something that our ancestor left behind for him. Instead, it was given to him by someone else. It is said that the reason why our old ancestor remained unmarried for his entire life was because he was waiting for the person who gave him the sword. If that's the case, could the senior who entered the sea be the person who gave him the sword? Otherwise, given our old ancestor's cold personality, how could he possibly? Shut up. How can you talk about our old ancestor? As for that Eastern Yama, he is not someone who can be trifled with. In the future, if I hear you spouting nonsense again, don't blame the clan for punishing you. The more the juniors talked, the more ridiculous they became. Finally, the elders of the Eastern Sea clan were displeased. They began to scold them one after another. Dong Yuni was not angry. She had no time to care about these nonsense. Her eyes were still fixed on the sea. She was waiting for that person to break out of the sea. Even though she firmly believed that the ancient Chaos Great Emperor was extremely powerful, he was still someone who had died once. Even if he was resurrected now, he did not seem to have much lifespan left. She did not know how much of his strength was left. She did not know whether the chaotic Tao laws in the sea would be a threat to him. I think I should go down and take a look. Dong Yuni's expression finally wavered. She took out an old sword case from her storage pouch and carried it on her back. She was about to enter the sea of the Eastern Sea. This scene frightened the cultivators of the clans so much that their expressions changed. They desperately tried to stop her. Old ancestor, you can't. The danger of the sea is not something we can resist. If you enter it recklessly, you will definitely die. Just as she was trying to dissuade her, she suddenly saw the sea water at the sea split apart. Following that, a dark yin-yang light flew out from the sea. It was none other than the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. As expected, there is a problem with this stone door. The ancient Chaos Great Emperor carried 2 heads in his hands and walked out from the sea. Those 2 heads did not reveal any murderous aura at all. It was obvious that they were concealed by the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's divine ability. As such, the ordinary clansmen of the Eastern Sea naturally could not determine whether the cultivation of the owner of those 2 heads was high or low. However, they still felt a little strange. When this senior entered the sea, he clearly did not have the heads in his hands. Could it be that he killed these 2 people in the sea? But how is this possible? The sea is so dangerous. How could an ordinary person hide in it? None of the clansmen of the Eastern Sea could see the power of those 2 heads except for Dong Yuni. Dong Yuni's expression changed immediately. If she was not mistaken, the owner of those 2 heads was at least a quasi-saint when he was alive. Moreover, it was very likely that he was at the 2nd rank. No wonder the ancient Chaos Great Emperor had entered the sea for such a long time. It turned out that he was entangled by the enemy. You're injured. As expected, I'm afraid you haven't even recovered 1/10 of your strength after coming back to life. Otherwise, how could you be injured when facing such an enemy? Why didn't you wait for me to enter the sea with you? I'm no longer the burden I was in the past. Dong Yuni was extremely anxious. He immediately wanted to treat Ancient Chaos Great Emperor's injuries. Ancient Chaos Great Emperor shook his head, indicating that there was no need for him to treat his injuries. He opened his mouth and swallowed the heads of the 2 quasi-saints. Then, he sat down cross-legged and began to refine them. It's actually the ancient demon eating technique. Eating humans' blood essence and assimilating it into one's own body. Isn't this technique already lost? Some people recognized Ancient Chaos Great Emperor's ability and their expressions changed. Of course, Ancient Chaos Great Emperor would not explain anything to others. After treating his injuries, he pinched his fingers and calculated. Then, a smile finally appeared on his cold and stiff face. The battle of the eastern sky has already ended. Sure enough, that brat is enough to deal with the foreign races. There's no need for me to get involved at all. It turned out that before the battle of the eastern border river had ended, Ancient Chaos Great Emperor had already entered the CI. He had only come out now. Naturally, he knew nothing about what was happening in the outside world. He continued to pinch his fingers and calculate something. Suddenly, his expression turned solemn and he became silent. It was because he had calculated something. During the battle between Ning Fan and blood god Gung Wu, the ancestor of the godly Void Pavilion had appeared for a short while. If he did not enter the CI, perhaps he would be able to meet her again. However, what could he do even if he met her? Other than thanking her for building the divine tomb and helping him resurrect, he could not say anything else. It would only make her disappointed. In that case, it might be better not to meet her. Uncle Gu, have you been well all these years? Dong Yuni looked at Ancient Chaos Great Emperor. Her emotions suddenly became turbulent. She wanted to say too much and ask too many questions. In the end, when the words reached the tip of her tongue, it was just a greeting that was similar to nonsense. Ancient Chaos Great Emperor had been surviving in the divine tomb for all these years. How could he be well? What kind of silly question was she asking? Oh, Ancient Chaos Great Emperor was slightly surprised. In fact, he still did not recognize who Dong Yuni was until now. Dong Yuni smiled bitterly. She patted her storage pouch and took out a talisman. After a slight hesitation, she resolutely slapped it on her body. All of a sudden, the traces of time seemed to be temporarily erased from her body. She was no longer old. She gradually became younger and eventually, she became the person he knew. Old ancestor, so beautiful. Some of the clansmen of the Eastern Sea were shocked by Dong Yuni's appearance when she was young. In order to survive the next great heavenly tribulation, Old Ancestor had no choice but to seal the remaining essence blood. He wanted to temporarily unseal it when the heavenly tribulation came. Now he actually unsealed it in advance. How can this be? When the heavenly tribulation comes, how is Old Ancestor going to deal with it? Some elders in the clan who knew the seriousness of the problem all had unpleasant expressions. However, they did not dare to say anything because of Dong Yuni's seniority. Uncle Gu, do you recognize me now? Dong Yuni's eyes flickered and looked at Ancient Chaos Great Emperor with a smile. So it's you, the youngest daughter of the Eastern Demon Ancestor? Ancient Chaos finally recognized Dong Yuni and immediately felt a headache. This little girl had been giving him a headache since a long time ago. Now it was even more so. You are still so willful. If you want to tell me your identity, you only need to explain it to me. Why did you unseal the essence blood that had been sealed for many years? Ancient Chaos Great Emperor sighed. I insist on doing this. I insist on letting you see my best appearance. Dong Yuni finally recognized Ancient Chaos Great Emperor. The tip of her eyebrows and the corner of her eyes were filled with joy. Hee, I and your father are friends of the same generation. What kind of appearance have I not seen before? As if recalling the past, Ancient Chaos Great Emperor also revealed a sentimental smile. However, this time, it was Dong Yuni's turn to be unhappy. The words I and your father are friends of the same generation was the second sentence that she did not want to hear in her life. She really hoped that Ancient Chaos Great Emperor would treat her as a friend of the same generation. Uncle Gu, you have the mind-reading technique. There is no way I can hide my thoughts from you. You know that I don't want to hear this sentence, but you still want to say it. You keep saying it and keep saying it. I know that you are using this sentence to remind me and avoid me. You have set your mind on Sister He Yao and are unwilling to pay attention to others. I understand. But now, Sister He Yao is no longer here. Why are you still unwilling to look at me? Ancient Chaos Great Emperor sighed. He did not know how to respond to Dong Yuni's words. You're always like this. You have always been like this. Sister Hiyao is already dead, but I am still here. It is not only me. Sister Xiang has always been waiting for you. She paid a huge price to build the divine tomb for you. She painstakingly guarded the divine tomb just to protect your remnant soul. However, until her death, she could not wait for your feelings. You are so good to Sister Hiyao. Why can't you treat others better? As Dong Yuni spoke, she finally could not hold back her emotions and tears flowed down her face. I am sorry. Ancient Chaos Great Emperor's face was filled with silence. After a long time, he finally uttered these two difficult words. All of a sudden, Dong Yuni felt as if all her strength had been sucked out. She looked at Ancient Chaos Great Emperor bitterly and suddenly coughed out a mouthful of blood. Her action of unsealing her blood essence was indeed too rash. In addition to her emotions being too agitated, she finally suffered a backlash. Don't be so impulsive next time. I have some pills here that can help you reseal your blood essence. Seeing Dong Yuni vomiting blood, Ancient Chaos Great Emperor sighed and took out a bottle of pills from his storage pouch and handed it over. However, Dong Yuni sneered and did not accept the bottle of pills. I don't want it. I don't want anything that you give me because you can't give me what I want. Dong Yuni turned around and left. Her back view was as stubborn as before. Ancient Chaos Great Emperor was speechless. After a long silence, he put the bottle of pills back into his storage pouch and said, I am sorry again. He turned around and was about to leave. The enemies at the stone gate of infinite desolation had already been killed. It was necessary for him to go to the other stone gates to continue his investigation. As for love, he had already thrown it away on the day Hiyao died. Wait. Seeing that Ancient Chaos Great Emperor was about to leave, Dong Yuni could no longer hold back her tears. She suddenly turned around and ran back. She untied the sword case on her back and handed it to Ancient Chaos Great Emperor. I don't want your things. You can take them. She returned the Lu Yuan sword to Ancient Chaos Great Emperor. Her tone was resolute. On the surface, it seemed as if she wanted to return the sword and sever all ties with Ancient Chaos Great Emperor. However, Ancient Chaos Great Emperor was proficient in the mind-reading technique. How could he not see her true thoughts? She was worried that Ancient Chaos Great Emperor would go to the other stone gates of infinite desolation and meet more enemies. That was why she returned the Lu Yuan sword to Ancient Chaos Great Emperor, hoping that he would be in less danger with this sword. Yuni, I appreciate your kindness. However, this sword is more important to you. Your physique is lacking and you can't cultivate your father's abilities. That's why I gave you this sword in the past and taught you the sword techniques of the Lai origin sect. If you don't have this sword to protect yourself in the future, if you encounter danger like you did in the past, are you finally willing to call me by my name? If I am captured by the 3C suppressing sages like I did in the past, will you still come and save me? Dong Yuni bit his lips and asked with a face full of expectation. I will. Because you are. Because you are the daughter of an old friend. Don't say the second half of your sentence. I don't want to hear it. I have already come to this point in my life. Even if I turn back, I can't go anywhere else. I don't plan to turn back. Don't force me to turn back either. I can't change your mind and you can't change mine either. Uncle Gu, be careful on your way back. You must come back alive and come to see me again. If you don't come back, I will hate you even if I die. All right. How could the mere pill devils of the Quail Tail Palace stop Ning Fan? Even though there were some pill devils that were slightly troublesome to deal with, the Quail Tail Palace was still conquered by him in the end. In this battle, he killed 6,000 pill devils and obtained 6,000 pills. Since these pill devils were not killed by the Karma Umbrella, the pills he obtained this time did not show the phenomenon of rain melting. Thus, they could be preserved for a long time. Even so, it was better to eat some pills when they were still fresh. That was why Ning Fan did not leave the Quail Tail Palace immediately. He planned to stay here and take a look at the pills he obtained. Among the 6,000 plus pills, there were only 4 pills that had reached the 10th revolution. They were the Plague Expelling Pill, the Stomach Nourishing Pill, the 33 Flavors Emperor Pill, and the Heat Clearing Pill. It was not difficult to find out the names of the pills. Ning Fan got the answer he wanted after chatting with the 4 pills for a while. The names of the 4 pills were very ordinary. However, it was this ordinariness that gave Ning Fan a feeling of returning to his true self. At this moment, he seemed to have seen a higher level of the Tao of pills. It was a kind of enlightenment that could not be described with words. The plague-expelling pill could cure a cultivator of a plague. Theoretically, a cultivator would not fall sick. However, what if the enemy was a cultivator who entered the Tao with an illness? This pill was a pill that was specially used to deal with plague cultivators. Even if a cultivator was infected with a plague at the incipient saint realm, it could also be cured. The stomach-nourishing pill was used to improve the digestive ability of a cultivator's spleen and stomach. It was said that the intestines and stomach of 99 Taotais were needed to concoct a pill like this. The 33 flavors Emperor pill was very useful. This pill could greatly improve a cultivator's ability in a certain aspect. One should know that the higher the cultivation level of a cultivator in the profound gate, the more likely they would be like a hidden elephant. To put it nicely, they would be like a hidden elephant. To put it bluntly, they would be like a wax spear with a silver appearance. To put it even more bluntly, they would be impotent. After Ning Fan obtained this pill, he could not help but make a wild guess. For an expert like Immortal Sovereign Ziwei, could it be that the symptoms of the hidden elephant are extremely serious? Otherwise, why would there be such a pill in this place? Anyway, Ning Fan did not need any other items to liven up his mood. He was just too strong in certain aspects. As for the last pill, which was called the heat-clearing pill, it seemed that every time Immortal Sovereign Ziwei overdid his cultivation of the fire element cultivation method, he would need to consume a pill to expel the fire qi in his body. That was how this pill was created. These 4 10th Revolution pills are not useless. However, I want the 10 Revolution 8 C's pill more. In the end, Ning Fan was still a little disappointed. If he could obtain another 10 Revolution 8 C's pill, he would even have the confidence to advance to the grand completion realm of the Rain Sovereign realm. Indeed, his harvest did not meet his expectations. Your Majesty, you might not know about this. Previously, the Devil Conferral Summit had robbed this place. All the useful pill devils ended up killing them to obtain their pills. At that time, only 4 10th Revolution pill devils were not killed. That's why these 4 pills are left. A skinny old man knelt on the ground in fear and explained to Ning Fan. This old man was actually also a pill devil. However, his situation was a little special. He was not the kind of vicious and murderous pill devil. He had never done any evil deeds. In the Quail Tail Palace, there were a total of 7 groups of pill devils. Each of them had their own devil village. The pill devils who were vicious and murderous were all from the Wind Village, Lightning Village, and Fire Village. As for the other 4 villages, most of them were docile and they rarely became enemies with others. In the beginning, Ning Fan did not know the situation in the Quail Tail Palace. Thus, as soon as he entered the palace, he planned to slaughter everyone in this place. That was what he thought and what he did. He chased after the pill devils all the way. First, he surrounded the Fire Village alone and killed all the pill devils in the village. Then, he went to the Lightning Village and the Wind Village to continue killing and snatching their pills. However, when he destroyed the 4th Devil Village, the Water Village, an unusual situation occurred. In the Water Village, Ning Fan did not receive any attacks. Instead, a large number of malnourished pill devils who were not wearing enough clothes lined the streets to welcome him. After that, he received a warm welcome. What's going on? Ning Fan was immediately dumbfounded. After spending some time, he finally found out the reason from the village chief of the Water Village. It turned out that the pill devils who were born in the first place in the Quail Tail Palace did not like killing. They only liked peace. They built 4 devil villages and lived in peace with each other. One day, an emperor pill that had 33 flavors suddenly became a pill devil. He was ruthless, but his methods were powerful. He kept gathering his subordinates. All the pill devils who had some strength were instigated by him to become evil. Later on, he proclaimed himself as the Pill King and went around causing trouble. The story was too long. Ning Fan stopped listening to the story until now. There were only two things he needed to know. Firstly, the remaining 4 devil villages did not attack Ji Fuyao. They were not on the same side as the Sea Devil General and the others. Secondly, the remaining 4 devil villages were mostly old and weak pill devils. Each of them was weak, and the pills they had were also ordinary and useless. After clarifying these things, Ning Fan did not continue to attack the remaining 4 devil villages. He was not a homicidal maniac. Why would he kill them when there was no grudge between them? The Devil Conferral Summit has no use for these 4 10th Revolution pills at the moment. Besides, they still need manpower to build the Devil Well in this place. That's why they didn't kill us. If it wasn't because the Devil Conferral Summit had looted this place, you could have gotten at least 40 10th Revolution pills from the 3 villages. There were 40 10th Revolution pills, but the Devil Conferral Summit only had 4 left. Moreover, the pills that were left were not very useful. Ning Fan had a feeling that he was robbed. The Sea Devil General whom the king had killed in the past had passed the Pill Ignition Tribulation and attained the 10th Revolution after obtaining a fortuitous encounter in recent years. If he had attained the 10th Revolution earlier, he might have been killed by the Devil Conferral Summit for his pill. He had a feeling that he had picked up a bargain. Before the king came, we were bullied and humiliated by the Fire, Wind and Lightning villages. After they joined the Devil Conferral Summit, they obtained a devil seed which made them even more ruthless. Thus, the bullying became worse. At the same time, they even forced the pill devils of the 4 villages to work as coolies to build the Devil Well. The pill devils of the 4 villages worked hard day and night. If we slacked off even a little bit, we would be punished. Some of them wanted to resist, but all of them were eaten by the old pill king as food. When he talked about the sufferings of the past, the village chief of the water village kept wiping his tears. His son was eaten alive because he resisted the old pill king. Therefore, he was very grateful to Ning Fan. Almost every pill devil of the 4 villages was extremely grateful to Ning Fan. Ning Fan was the savior of the world. He had eliminated the 3 tyrants of this place and cleaned up the evil. He was simply the savior of the pill devils of the 4 villages. That's why the pill devils of the 4 villages unanimously decided to serve the king as our master. Only a righteous devil lord like the king is worthy to be the master of our pill devils. The village chief's face was filled with pride when he said that. Pill devils were born with great arrogance. They would not submit to anyone unless it was their master. Even in the face of the massacre at the Devil Conferral Summit, the pill devils of the 4 villages did not lower their proud heads. However, when they faced Ning Fan, they chose to submit to him. It was not because of his strength, but because of Ning Fan's magnanimity. Or perhaps, the indistinct ancient devil spirit chi on Ning Fan's body was the key that made these pill devils submit to him. There's no need for that. I have no enmity with you, nor do I owe you anything. Exterminating the 3 villages was just a normal act of killing people and stealing their treasures. You don't need to feel indebted. As for the absurd words about the devil heads of the righteous sex, don't ever mention them again. Ning Fan rejected the pill devils of the 4 villages. This made the chief of the water village very disappointed. Since it was impossible for him to serve Ning Fan, he could only discuss with the other village chiefs and think of another way to repay Ning Fan. Ji Fuyao was also thinking of ways to repay Ning Fan. The soul-transforming leaf that she had plucked previously was lost when she was fleeing for her life. Luckily, Ning Fan helped her pluck the soul-transforming leaf again after he took over the Quail Tail Palace. Ji Fuyao could never forget the domineering scene of Ning Fan plucking the soul-transforming leaf. When the sky was filled with 3-teethed moths, wanting to attack Ning Fan only needed a single glance to scare away the 3-teethed moths that were known for their ferocity. Thus, harvesting the soul-dissolving leaf became extremely easy. In this case, out of the 3 types of medicinal ingredients, only the Tao Sealing Spirit Spring is still missing. Senior has promised to help me find the 3 types of medicinal ingredients. He certainly won't go back on his words. I have received Senior's kindness. Even though my strength is meager, I should still repay him. Currently, Senior is busy studying the 4 10th revolution pills that he has just obtained. Let me help Senior look for the fragments of the divine tools that he needs. Thus, Ji Fuyao began to search for the fragments of the Polylore Palace. The pestilence-expelling pill was a medicine that could cure illnesses. Ning Fan would not eat it for no reason. The heat-reducing pill was a type of medicine that could increase one's fire resistance within a short period of time. This was the conclusion that Ning Fan came to after studying it repeatedly. For the time being, there was no need for him to consume it. As for the 33 Regent pills, there was even less of a need for him to consume them. Ning Fan no longer needed to increase his ability in that aspect. When he has the time, he could sell them. Perhaps there would be a true world saint who was looking for something similar. As for the digestion-enhancing pill, the name of this pill was very ordinary. It was probably really concocted by immortal sovereign Ziwei to strengthen the stomach and aid digestion. However, how powerful was a dignified immortal sovereign? Even if he were to swallow a mountain or an ocean, he could still refine it in an instant. What kind of occasion would it be necessary to strengthen the stomach and aid digestion? Ning Fan then took a look at the ingredients of this pill. It already required the stomachs of 99 Tao Tai. Tao Tai was a legendary demon. Some people said that Tao Tai was one of the 4 ancient ferocious beasts. Some people said that Tao Tai was a type of mixed blood demon race that was not a true spirit. Some people said that Tao Tai's stomach acid could digest all living things. Even a true saint who had the strength to kill a Tao Tai would still be afraid of its stomach acid. If they were careless and got splashed by the stomach acid of a Tao Tai, their saint ring might even have a hole melted. A pill that required the stomachs of 99 Tao Tais was definitely not as ordinary as its name suggested. Ning Fan did not underestimate this pill at all. Even though it did not meet the expectations of the 8 C's pill, it still made him a little concerned. That was why he decided to consume it on the spot while it was still fresh. With Ning Fan's ancient fiend god body, he did not need any special protection when consuming a 10th revolution pill. He chewed the pill in a very normal manner as if he was eating a jelly bean. Unfortunately, this pill was not a jelly bean after all. After he chewed the sugar coating on the surface, the smell of blood immediately gushed out. That smell of blood was mixed with the resentment of 99 Tao Tais. Tao Tai devoured all living things in their lives. However, they did not expect that they would be refined into a pill and eaten by someone one day. Even though it was a cycle of karma, it could not help but harbor resentment in their hearts. This resentment was too heavy. It was so heavy that even Ning Fan's Tao heart was affected. His eyes began to be covered by a blood-red light. Then, illusions appeared in front of his eyes. He saw a man wearing purple battle armor approaching him coldly. His body was surrounded by 12 stars. He casually plucked one of the stars and hurled it downwards. As a result, the Tao Tai clan below suffered a series of falling stars. The mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. All living beings were killed. It was like the end of the world. "This is the price you have to pay for eating my yuan peach," the man said ruthlessly. Ning Fan felt like he had become a member of the Tao Tai clan. He could feel the fear and resentment in his body. That kind of negative emotion was like a tangible substance. It turned into 99 traces of blood-red cold chi that rampaged inside Ning Fan's body. Eventually, it froze his Tao heart world. Just as Ning Fan was about to lose control of his mind, 2 rays of golden and black fiend god light surged out from his body. His Tao heart world was no longer filled with blood-red ice and snow. Instead, it turned into a golden sky and a black earth. The traces of resentment were crushed by Ning Fan mercilessly. His mind regained its clarity. Then he felt the final taste of the pill. Sour. It was indescribably sour. Ning Fan's teeth ached from the sourness. That was the combination of the stomach acid of 99 Tao Tais. Even though it was processed using pill refinement techniques and it would not cause any harm to the person who consumes the pill, it was still too sour. That sourness kept surging to his stomach, giving him a burning sensation. It felt like it was burning. At the same time, it also felt like Ning Fan's stomach acid was waging a war against the stomach acid of the Tao Tai. After an unknown period of time, that burning sensation subsided. Ning Fan heaved a long sigh of relief. He broke away from his cultivation state. He did not realize that 3 days had already passed. Senior, congratulations on successfully consuming the pill. When Ji Fuyao saw Ning Fan break away from his meditative state, she immediately congratulated him. During these 3 days, she had already found all the fragments of much knowledge in this place and was waiting to offer them to Ning Fan. Don't congratulate me so quickly. I just thought of a very serious matter. Ning Fan suddenly frowned. What is it? Ji Fuyao was startled. He thought to himself, could it be that something went wrong when Senior consumed the pill? Otherwise, why would his expression be so serious? Since this pill is a pill that strengthens the stomach and helps digestion, should it be consumed before or after a meal? Senior, are you joking with me? Ji Fuyao's forehead was filled with black lines. He did not know how to respond to Ning Fan's words. However, Ning Fan was not joking. Instead, he was thinking about this problem seriously. Even though the point of his thinking was very strange, I can feel that my stomach has been strengthened to a very terrifying level by this pill. This feeling that I haven't felt for a long time. Could it be? Ning Fan's expression changed slightly. Ever since he stepped onto the path of cultivation, it had been too many years since he last felt this kind of feeling. Gurgled at a slightly awkward sound came from Ning Fan's stomach. Hungry. Hungry. Moreover, it was not an ordinary level of hunger. The hunger he felt right now was like a Taotai that had been hungry for 99 years or 99 Taotais that had been hungry for an entire year. It was more like a hungry Nian that ate 99 Taois alive. By the way, I just met the village chief of the water village. He said that he wanted to invite Senior to try the delicacies of the Pill Devil clan. However, I saw that Senior has yet to completely assimilate the medicinal power of the pill, so I rejected him on behalf of Senior. Delicacies? Ning Fan's eyes flashed. Then, under Ji Fuyao's surprised gaze, he stood up. Were you going, Senior? To find food? Chapter 1249. When a cultivator gains something, it would often be accompanied by loss. Abstaining from food could prevent them from hunger, but it would also deprive them of their appetite and the satisfaction after eating their fill. Slaying the scarlet dragon could prevent them from having their period, but it would weaken the fertility of female cultivators. Hiding the elephant horse could deepen one's profound cultivation, but it would lose the joy of having sex. The more intelligent and shrewd one was, the harder it would be for them to trust others. Their lifespan was long and almost eternal, but they just could not find the happiness of the mortal world. Ning Fan had long forgotten the feeling of being hungry. However, at this moment he actually had the urge to eat. This feeling troubled him. It made him feel lost and nostalgic. A person with a pure heart and a person whose eyes were blinded by desires would see the world differently. For example, a man who had been holding back for countless years would also forget everything when he saw a picture of a beautiful palace. However, if he releases all his desires, he would enter the wise sage realm where his heart was as hard as stone. When he looks at the picture again, he would only feel that it was boring. Cultivators who had no appetite would look at the living beings, mountains, rivers, grass and trees as if they were looking at a painting. They could appreciate the beautiful scenery and comprehend the great Tao of the heavens, but it was difficult for them to truly immerse themselves in it. They could only pass by. Ning Fan was different. At this moment he had an appetite. Thus, the way he looked at the plants, mountains, rivers, and living beings changed. He passed by a mountain which was located to the south of the Quail Tail Palace. He saw a white deer leaping between the mountains. His first reaction was not because the white deer was so lively and beautiful. Instead, he suddenly recalled the past when he hunted deer when he was young. He recalled the time when he went into the mountains to hunt deer with the body of a mortal when he was young. He remembered one time when he chased a deer all the way into the depths of the mountains. In the end, he managed to hunt the deer, but unfortunately, he got lost in the mountains. The sky was already dark and the mountain rain suddenly came. He carried the deer with his skinny body and looked around for a place to hide from the rain. Finally, he found a cave. Then, he lit a bonfire and roasted the deer. Fortunately, he brought some salt with him and some honey he found in the mountains. He smeared the honey on the roasted meat. Roasted deer meat might be good, Ning Fan thought to himself. He did not expect that when he was planning to hunt the white deer, they actually had the same idea. Noticing Ning Fan's arrival, the white deer that were jumping in joy suddenly quieted down. Then, all of them rushed towards Ning Fan with ferocious eyes. Some people thought that deer were vegetarian, but that was just a misconception. Deer also ate meat. When Ning Fan was young, he went hunting in the mountains and saw wild deer eating fish, birds, and dead rabbits. The herd of deer in front of them was clearly more aggressive. They even dared to treat those who entered the mountain as prey and took the initiative to attack. Therefore, hundreds of ferocious white deer surrounded Ning Fan in a blink of an eye. The leader of the herd was an old deer king. The deer king looked at Ning Fan coldly as if he was looking at his food. It proudly lowered its head and rammed its huge antlers at Ning Fan. The power of this one strike was shockingly equivalent to the impact of several stars. Such a shocking impact was enough to make some doomsday immortal venerables panic, but it wasn't enough to make them raise their eyebrows. With just a casual press of his hand, the deer king who was dashing towards him was pinned on the spot, unable to move at all. Deer King's head was pressed down by Ning Fan. It wanted to break free, but to its horror, it realized that Ning Fan's strength was far stronger than its own. "Since you're hunting me, I think you've already made up your mind." Ning Fan's face showed a ruthless expression. In just a short while, all of the white deer were slaughtered by Ning Fan and turned into roasted deer. The divine lattice of wood built a huge grill. After hundreds of deer were cut up, they were placed on the grill. While the devil flame was roasting the deer below, Ning Fan was busy spreading the sauce at the side. In just a short while, the deer meat was roasted until it was golden yellow and its fragrance filled the air. Ning Fan took a skewer of roasted deer meat and tasted it. In the end, he shook his head regretfully. "It's not as tasty as the deer meat when I was young. It's because the deer meat is different or because my heart is different." Even so, the deer meat on the grill was still decreasing rapidly. Ning Fan was very hungry and he would not waste the food in front of him. Inside his body, the 99 traces of Tao Tai's power were circulating in his stomach. As the deer meat was digested and absorbed, one trace of the Tao Tai's power was reduced unknowingly, leaving only 98 traces. At the same time when the Tao Tai's power was reduced, an even more intense hunger pounded on Ning Fan's stomach. Strange. I've clearly eaten so much deer meat, but I'm getting hungrier and hungrier instead. Ning Fan was puzzled, but he did not delve into these details. The aroma of the roasted meat drifted very far away. In the depths of the mountain, a gigantic black tiger which had been sleeping for many years opened its eyes at this moment. Saliva flowed out from its mouth. It followed the aroma all the way to this place. The moment it saw the deer meat on the grill, it rushed towards it without caring about anything. Bang! A palm wind blew past. The black tiger was sent flying away by someone's palm. It let out a miserable shriek and flew backwards. "This is mine. You can't snatch it from me," Ning Fan said indifferently. "Roar." The black tiger seemed to be enraged by Ning Fan's action. The black tiger let out a furious roar. Immediately, billowing black wind blew across the mountain forest. The black wind gathered in the black tiger's mouth and condensed into a glaring black wind ball. Bang! The wind ball was launched directly at Ning Fan. It was almost as powerful as a strike from an immortal king. Ning Fan did not even look at the wind ball. With a casual flick of his sleeve, the wind ball disappeared without a trace. The black tiger shuddered. It finally realized that Ning Fan was not someone to be trifled with. At this moment, it no longer dared to snatch Ning Fan's food. It turned around and tried to escape. Ning Fan casually struck out a ray of sword light. With a miserable shriek, the black tiger was nailed to the ground by the ocean-defying sword. Thus, there was another piece of tiger meat on Ning Fan's grill. The strength of this black tiger was already close to the immortal king realm. The essence chi contained in its flesh was far beyond that of the deer meat. Once it was grilled, the essence chi almost shot up to the sky. Far away, The 3 devil well birds smelled the tiger meat. At this moment, all of them drooled. It smells so good. Brothers, there seems to be something delicious in that direction. Should we go and have a look? The youngest devil well bird said excitedly. Before greed died, he sent us here to supervise the construction of the devil well that connects the 2 worlds. We can't leave our posts without permission. Don't cause trouble. The second oldest devil well bird reprimanded. That pill elder Mo has already been killed. The laborers who built the devil well in the 4 villages have also fled back to their own villages. Even if we stay here, we won't be able to complete the devil well. What's wrong with going out to look for some food once in a while? The youngest devil well bird disagreed. In the end, it flapped its wings alone and flew out of the dark devil well. Humph! Little brother is always so disobedient. He will get into trouble sooner or later. Big brother, why don't you scold him? He never listens to me. However, if it's you, you should at least listen to me. The second brother said with dissatisfaction. Hoo! The oldest devil well bird was busy snoring, as if it was not concerned about what was happening in the outside world. After Ning Fan finished the deer meat, he began to eat the tiger meat. He did not know what kind of species this black tiger was. When it was grilled, it tasted extremely fragrant. However, when it entered his mouth, it tasted a little sour. It was not very tasty. Luckily, Ning Fan was extremely hungry at the moment. He did not care whether it was tasty or not. In just a blink of an eye, he had eaten half of the roasted tiger. Strangely enough, after eating the white deer, the Taotai power in his body had decreased to 98 traces. Now that he had eaten the black tiger, the Taotai power in his body had decreased to 96 traces. Ning Fan did not know what was the special meaning of the reduction of the Taotai power in his body. He only knew that the lesser the Taotai power in his body, the hungrier he would be. It was really strange. This tiger meat is not enough. I need more food. Just as Ning Fan was thinking about where he should go to find more food, the sky above his head was suddenly shrouded by a shadow and fell into darkness. It turned out that a gigantic and nutritious devil well bird had flown to this place. It spread its wings and completely blocked the sky above the mountain forest. Its immense killing intent locked onto Ning Fan at the first moment. Those who hunt in this place without the permission of us, the devil well envoys, will be punished with death. The devil well bird's tone was arrogant. It flapped its wings and its sharp feathers flew out like blades, cutting down all the plants on the mountain slope in an instant. Those feathers also flew towards Ning Fan. However, when they were 100 zhang away from him, they were blocked by invisible walls. Those invisible walls were not some kind of divine ability. They were just Ning Fan's Dao sense. With just a single Dao sense, he could actually prevent ordinary attacks from getting close to him. This man actually blocked my feather blade technique with just his Dao sense. The devil well bird was shocked. However, that shock only lasted for a moment. At the next moment, its eyes turned ferocious again and it said coldly, "How dare you? You're just a low-grade pill devil. How dare you resist my punishment?" I see. This devil well bird actually thought that Ning Fan was the pill devil of this place. That was why it spoke in such a superior tone. The meat of this huge bird is really quite a lot. I wonder if it can fill my stomach. Ning Fan did not care about the devil well bird's clamor. He completely treated the bird as food that was delivered to his doorstep. His eyes were filled with memories. He inadvertently recalled the past where he climbed trees and touched birds when he was young. The devil well bird was infuriated by Ning Fan's attitude. Its killing intent instantly intensified. The devil well bird muttered some incantations. Suddenly, 14 feathers on its wings changed color from black to scarlet gold and then from scarlet gold to fiery red. My cultivation in my entire life is the 14 Hotian fire feathers. When the 14 fire feathers are unleashed at the same time, it is comparable to innate fire. It can burn the heavens and the earth. Burning your Dao sense is as easy as flipping my hand. Chi, the 14 fire feathers turned into fiery light and flew out. Heaven and earth were instantly dyed fiery red. The devil whalebird's face was filled with confidence. The destructive power of this attack was comparable to the innate devil fire. How many people below the immortal emperor realm could withstand it? The low-grade pill devil in front of it would probably be burned to ashes in an instant. The fiery light flew closer and closer. When it was about to burn Ning Fan, he suddenly raised his hand and directly caught the fiery light in his palm. It completely ignored the scorching temperature of the innate devil fire. You burn me with fire. Then I will burn you with fire as well. This is karma. Ning Fan opened his mouth and swallowed the 14 fire feathers of the devil whale-bird into his stomach. Then he spat out a fiery red lump of soil. That lump of soil seemed ordinary. However, as soon as it rose into the sky, it instantly turned boundlessly huge. How is this a lump of soil? It is obviously an entire continent. Besides, it is not an ordinary continent but a land of utmost fire in the 10 worlds. Ning Fan's devil fire burned fiercely in this land of utmost fire. Under the enhancement of the land of utmost fire, its destructive power skyrocketed by a few times. The devil whale-bird was terrified. It could feel an unparalleled heat from this land of utmost fire. If it is attacked by this thing, it would definitely be burned to ashes in an instant. Among the pill devils of the 4 villages, there is no one as powerful as you. You are not the pill devils of the 4 villages. You are the external cultivator who killed Pill Elder Mo. The devil whale-bird realized something. It flapped its wings and fled immediately. How would it dare to stay in this place for a long time? However, it could not escape at all. No matter how far it ran, the entire land of utmost fire would always be hanging above its head. That land of utmost fire finally fell. In despair, the devil whale-bird desperately tried to block it. However, in just an instant, all of its feathers were burned off by the land of utmost fire. Then, its flesh was roasted bit by bit. It was not because it was too weak but because Ning Fan was too generous. He actually used the land of utmost fire in the 10 worlds as a barbecue. How many people in this world could avoid being roasted to death? Ning Fan carefully controlled the temperature of the fire, afraid that the temperature would be too high and turn the devil whale-bird into charcoal. While he was roasting the bird, he was still puzzled. This bird just said that I killed some Pill Elder Mo. Who is that? I'm afraid this bird has mistaken me for someone else. Pill Elder Mo was actually the name of the old Pill King of the Quail Tail Palace. His true form was the 10th Revolution's stomach-nourishing digestion pill that Ning Fan consumed. He was indeed killed by Ning Fan. The devil whale-bird did not accuse Ning Fan wrongly. Unfortunately, Ning Fan did not even bother to ask for the name of such a minor character who could not even live for more than half an episode. How would he know about this matter? Of course, even if he does not know, he would not care. Damn it. Third brother's life plate is broken. Almost at the same time when the younger devil whale-bird died, the second devil whale-bird let out a furious roar. The eldest devil whale-bird who was sleeping soundly also woke up from his slumber. His eyes shone with a sharp cold light. How dare you kill my younger brother? I will kill your entire clan. The 2 devil whale-birds gnashed their teeth and said. Then, the 2 devil whale-birds who had lost their rationality due to anger rushed out of the well and charged at Ning Fan. After that, a large pile of fresh roasted bird meat was added to Ning Fan's grill. Ning Fan was happily eating the devil whale-birds. After an unknown period of time, a fragrant wind suddenly blew past him. A lady wearing a green silk dress descended from the sky. Fellow Taoist, are you satisfied with just these pieces of trash? My name is Nu Luo. Are you willing to follow me to eat some better food? The lady said with a charming smile. Her voice was extremely pleasant to the ears. Ning Fan's eyes narrowed slightly. He raised his head and looked at the lady's beautiful face. Eventually, his eyes fell on the lady's throat. There seemed to be an Adam's apple that was not very obvious there. This is a man who is dressed like a lady? Senior said that you are going to look for food. Why haven't you come back after such a long time? Could it be that Senior is going to stay in the water village tonight? Ji Fuyao waited and waited. Even when the sky turned dark, Ning Fan still did not come back to look for her. When Ning Fan said that he was going to look for food, She subconsciously thought that he had gone to participate in the banquet of the pill devils of the 4 villages. Since Ning Fan did not return after such a long time, she also subconsciously thought that he was going to stay in the homes of the pill devils tonight. When she thought about how Ning Fan was hugging a young lady of the pill devil clan in each of his arms, Ji Fuyao could not help but feel a little uncomfortable. She was not jealous. It was just that she had been hunted down by the pill devil clan for too many times. Deep down in her bones, she hated pill devils. She was filled with admiration and gratitude towards Ning Fan. She regarded him as her benefactor. He was her benefactor. Even if he wants to have fun, he should not look for despicable and shameless pill devils. Ning Fan deserves better. Senior, you can't belittle yourself like this. This won't do. I have to go and persuade Senior. He can't just take in any Tom, Dick or Harry. Ji Fuyao went all the way to the water village with a strange feeling in her heart. When she arrived, she was surprised to find that there was no banquet in the water village at all. After asking a random pill devil, she found out that Ning Fan did not come to this place at all. Since Senior didn't come to this place, where did he go to eat? While Ji Fuyao was puzzled, a few pill devils who were patrolling outside suddenly returned to the water village with faces full of joy. Great news! Great news! The 3 devil well birds that have enslaved us for many years have been eliminated. The person who eliminated the evil is none other than our benefactor, Ning Fan. What? Benefactor didn't accept our invitation to the banquet, but he still helped us eliminate the devil well birds? How chivalrous! How did our benefactor kill the 3 evil birds? Hurry up and tell us about it. Unbelievable! Benefactor actually used a piece of land of extreme fire to roast and eat the 3 evil birds? Where is our benefactor now? So he's at the southern Quail Mountain. What? Not only the 3 evil birds, but he also killed the black tiger spirit that had been doing evil for many years? What? That herd of man-eating deer was also eliminated by our benefactor? I've lived for a lifetime, but I've never seen someone as chivalrous and righteous as our benefactor. Our benefactor has helped us time and time again. Even if he isn't willing to attend the banquet, we should still show our gratitude. Got it. Let's move the banquet to the southern Quail Mountain. If our benefactor doesn't come, we will personally visit him. No matter what, we must thank our benefactor. The pill devils carried the food and wine and headed straight to the southern Quail Mountain in a grand procession. Since Ji Fuyao had nowhere to look for Ning Fan, she also followed the group of pill devils and headed to the southern Quail Mountain. Unfortunately, when she arrived at the mountain, Ning Fan was no longer there. The bonfire had already been extinguished. What was left on the ground was a giant grill that was charred black and bones that were eaten clean. There were deer bones, tiger bones, and the bones of giant birds. All of them were the trash that Ning Fan left behind. Apart from that, there was also a Dao boy who carried a giant medicinal gourd on his back waiting for them. Could this person be the medicine boy under Lady Nu Luo? Some of the pill devils recognized the identity of the Dao boy and bowed to him respectfully. The Dao boy's attitude was very cold. When he saw the pill devils bowing to him, he just said indifferently, "You may rise." Then he ignored them and walked towards Ji Fuyao. "Greetings, Lord Medicine Boy." Ji Fuyao bowed to the Dao boy. She was no stranger to the Ziwei North Palace. Of course, she knew how powerful the medicine boy in front of her was. Even though he had the body of a Dao boy, his cultivation base was comparable to an ancient great emperor. Thus, she could not afford to be disrespectful to him. When facing the pill devils, the medicine boy's face was full of indifference. However, when facing Ji Fuyao, he actually squeezed out a smile. "Senior Ning has ordered me to escort you to the Xian Pin Palace." "To the Xian Pin Palace? Senior Ning asked you to pick me up here?" Ji Fuyao seemed to be in disbelief. Every time she entered the Ziwei North Palace, she would be hunted by the demons and devils in this place. Thus, she was extremely vigilant. Thus, she did not believe the medicine boy's words easily. Seeing that Ji Fuyao did not believe him, the medicine boy did not get angry. He patted his storage pouch and took out a bronze mirror. Then he cast a hand seal into the mirror. Then, Ning Fan's figure was reflected in the mirror. At this moment, Ning Fan was following behind a beautiful lady. They had already left the Quail Tail Palace and entered the 8th palace, the Quail Fire Palace. The two of them were chatting happily. However, when he sensed that he was being inspected, he stopped talking and said to Ji Fuyao through the bronze mirror, "I've been invited by fellow Taoist Nu Luo to do something. You can follow the medicine boy to the Xian Pin Palace. You don't have to worry." What terrifying senses! He can actually sense the ancient mirror of Mount Wu and even use it to converse. The medicine boy's face was filled with astonishment. Then, he sighed in admiration towards Ning Fan's senses. Ji Fuyao also knew about the ancient mirror of Mount Wu. He knew that it was actually the treasure of the master of the Xian Pin Palace, old ancestor Nu Luo. The person who spoke in the ancient mirror was undoubtedly Ning Fan. His qi could not be faked. Therefore, the medicine boy in front of him was really sent by Ning Fan to pick her up. "If that's the case, are you willing to follow me to the Xian Pin Palace?" The medicine boy asked with a smile. Ji Fuyao naturally wanted to go to the Xian Pin Palace to find Ning Fan. However, she still had some doubts. Why did Ning Fan accept the invitation of old ancestor Nu Luo for no reason? Rumor has it that old ancestor Nu Luo was extremely fond of men. Many of the powerful male demons and devils in the North Pole Palace had fallen into her hands. Could it be that old ancestor Nu Luo has taken a fancy to Senior Ning's beauty? That's why she invited Senior Ning to the Xian Pin Palace for a night of pleasure? How can this be? How can Senior be so casual? He and old ancestor Nu Luo have just met once. This is too fast. When he thought of this, Ji Fuyao felt unwell. It was as if the Prince Charming in his heart was about to be tainted by someone else. In the 8th palace of the North Pole Palace, the Quail Fire Palace, Ning Fan followed behind old ancestor Nu Luo and flew across the sky above the Quail Fire Palace. Countless fire devils of the palace were alarmed, but none of them dared to stop them. The Quail Fire Palace is the territory of the fire devils. Since ancient times, this place has been the place where venerated Ziwei nurtured the flames. It was only until venerated Ziwei passed away that the powerful flames that were nurtured in this place were taken away by immortal sovereign Zido. Since then, there are only a few low-grade flames left in this place. As time passed, the low-grade flames turned into fire devils. These fire devils seem strong, but they are actually not worth mentioning. Old ancestor Nu Luo explained to Ning Fan while leading the way. Her tone was very disdainful. She did not put the fire devils of the Quail Fire Palace in her eyes at all. Of course, she also had the right to be so disdainful. She was a second-level quasi-sage. With such a cultivation base, so what if she looked down on a group of fire devils? "Fellow Taoist said that you are going to bring me to look for delicious food. I wonder what kind of delicacies this Quail Fire Palace has?" Ning Fan asked. He who could communicate with all living beings could sense that this old ancestor Nu Luo in front of him did not have any ill intentions. He was very curious why this old ancestor Nu Luo would look for him out of nowhere. Could it be that she really just wants to help him look for food? Or perhaps she has another purpose. The Quail Fire Palace does have some delicious food. I just wonder if fellow Taoist dares to eat them. Old ancestor Nu Luo giggled. Even though I'm not picky, I don't eat everything. Ning Fan was non-committal. Fellow Taoist, don't worry. When you see this item, you will definitely like it. I just wonder how much you can eat and how much you dare to eat. Old ancestor Nu Luo brought Ning Fan all the way to the easternmost area of the Quail Fire Palace. What entered his sight was a desolate desert. Old ancestor Nu Luo landed on the desert with Ning Fan. She lifted her foot and stomped on the ground. "Fire devil brat, quickly come out and see me." Her tone was forceful and undeniable. The force of her stomp split the entire desert into two halves. From the crack, a white-haired fire devil with a face full of anger flew out. "Were you thief? How dare you?" When the old fire devil saw that it was an external cultivator like Ning Fan, his eyes subconsciously revealed killing intent. However, when he saw that Nu Luo was following Ning Fan, his face turned pale with fright. Junior. Junior Long Yenxing greets Senior Nu Luo. May I know if Senior is here to stay for the night? When he mentioned the word stay, the fire devil whose name was Long Yenxing felt like crying. This man was an immortal emperor after all. Moreover, he seemed to be someone who was not afraid of death. Ning Fan was really curious about what had happened between this person and Nu Luo. Nu Luo was terrified to the core of his being. You're already old and weak. No matter how hungry I am, I won't go so far as to look for you. Nu Luo looked at Long Yenxing disdainfully. Her eyes were filled with endless pity and regret. In the past, Long Yenxing was the most handsome man among the fire devils. However, after being plucked by her a few times, he turned into this withered old man. How useless! After being scolded by Nu Luo for being old and weak, Long Yenxing did not feel the slightest bit humiliated. Instead, his face was filled with joy. It was as if it was a great thing for him not to be liked by Nu Luo. As his mood turned better, Long Yenxing's face also had a smile. He began to size Ning Fan up and down. It was not until now that he realized that Ning Fan's appearance was actually quite extraordinary. I get it now. It turns out that Senior is not here to stay but to seek shelter. Don't worry. I will certainly drive everyone away from this place and not let anyone disturb Senior's pleasure. After saying that, Long Yenxing patted Ning Fan's shoulder sympathetically and comforted him. Take good care of Senior Nu Luo. If you really can't take it anymore, just use this. The kind-hearted Long Yenxing gave Ning Fan a bottle of medicine. Ning Fan scanned it with his spirit sense and his face immediately darkened. What was inside the bottle was not some kind of pellet but a whole bottle of medicinal liquid. Its purpose was to nourish the valley path. Don't talk nonsense. I invited fellow Taoist Ning here for some serious business. Quickly open the seal. I want to go to the fire quail pond. Nu Luo said with displeasure. Chapter 1250. Don't talk nonsense. The reason this young lady asked fellow Taoist Ning to come here is to handle proper business. Quickly open the seal. I want to go to the fire quail pond. Long Yenxing didn't dare to disobey Ancestor Nu Luo's order. He immediately summoned countless fire demon clansmen and prepared to open the fire quail pond. The so-called fire quail pond was a secret place sealed at the bottom of the desert of the Quail Fire Palace. Every time it was opened, a special ceremony was required. The members of the Fire Devil clan were busy setting up the altar and setting up the incense table. The altar looked ordinary at first glance, but he did not expect that the principles of formations contained within it were actually quite different from what he had learned. It was probably the inheritance of the Z-Wei immortal region. There was nothing special about the incense table, but the offerings placed on it were a little special. When ordinary people opened the altar, they would either offer melons, fruits, or 3 kinds of animals. But the offerings on this incense table were earthworms and red worms. Ning Fan could not help but find it funny when he saw the offering. How is this an offering? It's obviously a bait. Could it be that you guys want to offer fish by setting up such a law? He then looked at the spirit tablet on the incense burner table. He had actually guessed it correctly. Supreme Tai Ku, Fire Fish Immortal. They were really offering fish. He just didn't know who the fire fish celestial on the spirit tablet was, and what relationship he had with the fire quail pond. Suddenly, the sound of crying could be heard. Ning Fan shifted his gaze to the side and happened to see an old female immortal of the Fire Devil clan leading more than 10 young fire devils walking towards them. The girls were all sobbing. They were crying, but they gave off the impression that they were faking it. They didn't look very sad. The Black Witch had a stern expression on her face. She seemed to have noticed that the crying was too fake, so she reprimanded them. Pay attention. Even if he had to put on an act, he had to make it look real. One had to know that the matter of the weeping fish was for emergencies. If you don't cry like that, those monsters won't be afraid of you. Nurture your feelings well. Think more about the sorrowful things. The few girls replied submissively. One by one, they began to build up their emotions and gradually began to cry. Weeping fish? Ning Fan silently observed everything around him. He had only heard of mortals crying after they died, but he didn't know that opening a fire quail pond also required crying for the fish in the pond. Under the witch's lead, these girls stood on the left and right. The witch waved her hand again, and the young girls stopped crying. Clearly, they didn't need to cry for the fish yet, so they could rest for a while. As for the witch herself, she staggered to the incense table and picked up the wooden sword on the table with trembling hands. She then grabbed a handful of yellow and green talisman paper and threw them into the air. She then began to mumble an incantation. Mommy, mommy, mo. Please give me the spirit fire illuminating talisman. Mommy, mo. Fire quail pond really works. As the witch chanted the incantation, she jumped and jumped. After jumping for an unknown amount of time, the spirit tablet on the incense burner table finally changed and began to tremble slightly. Then, an 8-colored flame flew out from the spirit tablet and soared into the sky. There was only one flame in the beginning. After circling in the sky for a while, it suddenly trembled and turned into tens of thousands of flames, illuminating the entire sky with a colorful glow. True sovereign, please show yourself. The witch pointed the wooden sword at the sky. Then, the flames fell from the sky. Within the flames, the magma lake that was originally sealed at the bottom of the desert slowly rose to the surface, bubbling with lava. The magma lake occupied an area of several hundred li. The shape of the lake was very strange. If one were to look down from the sky, it would look like a huge bird spreading its wings. From time to time, there would be huge fishes with wings jumping out of the lake and swimming happily in the magma. These fishes had long beaks, wings and scales, which made them look indescribably awkward. Moreover, because their heads were too big and their eyes were too protruding, the proportions of their heads and bodies were out of balance. Their facial features were also out of balance, making them look rather strange and ugly. When they opened their mouths and revealed their sharp fangs, they were not cute at all. Instead, they looked extremely ferocious and terrifying. Among these fishes, the smallest one was the size of an adult cow. Some of the bigger ones could even grow to a length of several hundred zhang. The sound of the fish was also very strange. It sounded like a bird but not a bird, like a beast but not a beast. Its voice was hoarse and unpleasant to the ears. It sounded like a crow but also like the snort of a pig. This is the fire quail pond. There are fishes in the pond. When they come in contact with water, they will soar in the sky. When they come in contact with fire, they will dive into the ground. They are called fire quail fish. Even though this fish looks ugly, its meat is exceptionally delicious and nourishing. A mouthful of its meat is thousands of times better than what fellow Taoist has eaten in your entire life. The only problem is that the flame qi of this fish is too strong. Even a sovereign fire cultivator would not dare to eat too much of it. Some parts of the fish are poisonous. Thus, it needs to be specially processed before eating. Why don't we go closer and take a closer look at this fish? Old ancestor Nu Luo said with a smile. As she was speaking, she led Ning Fan to a place near the magma lake. Ning Fan walked to the edge of the lake. Coincidentally, there was a medium-sized fire quail fish swimming towards him. It approached him like a small mountain. This fire quail fish was also very ugly. However, its eyes were very lively, as if countless emotions were written in its eyes. After it swam to the shore, it obediently swayed its fish tail and slapped the surface of the water. It looked at Ning Fan pitifully and shook its huge fish head from time to time. Legend has it that the fire quail fish is an affectionate fish. When it meets the person it loves, it will swim to the shore to express its happiness. As she said this, old ancestor Nu Luo suddenly paused and looked at Ning Fan meaningfully. An affectionate fish? This is interesting. What's more interesting is that all of these fire quail fish are hermaphrodites. They can reproduce on their own. In other words, they don't need to be attracted to external objects at all. Hermaphrodites? Well, it's not a big deal to talk about it as a fish. Ning Fan and the fire quail fish looked at each other. When he met the pitiful eyes of the fire quail fish, he did not know why he did not find it ugly. Instead, he felt that this fish was a little cute. Thus, he squatted down and reached out his hand to pat the fire quail fish's big head as if he was comforting it. He possessed the ability to communicate with all living things. Even if he did not deliberately activate it, he could still clearly sense the kindness in the fish's eyes. It seems to be a pity to eat such a friendly and adorable fish just like that. It's better to keep one or two of them. However, the way the fire quail fish express their love is a little special. If they meet the person they love, they will definitely open their huge mouth and truly become one with the person they love. Old ancestor Nu Luo added. Almost at the same time when her voice fell, the friendly and adorable fire quail fish suddenly opened its huge mouth and tried to swallow Ning Fan. How is this fish expressing its love? It clearly wants to eat Ning Fan in one bite. If you love him, you will become one with him. If you love him, you will eat him. The affection in the fire quail fish's eyes was actually because it saw something it loved to eat. After Ning Fan activated the all-living things communication, he also heard the arrogant words of the fire quail fish. Foolish humans, become my food. Ning Fan was slightly speechless. He who thought that the fire quail fish was cute might be an idiot. After the fire quail fish swallowed Ning Fan, it let out a satisfied burp. Almost at the same time when the fire quail fish ate Ning Fan, countless screams resounded among the fire devils. Even the leader of the fire devils, Long Yensheng, was shocked. Not good. Senior Nu Luo's lover has been eaten. Long Yensheng could not help but be shocked. As the master of the fire quail palace, he had been guarding the fire quail pond for countless years. How could he not know how terrifying these fire quail fish were? The fire quail fish was an ancient species. Its gastric juice was unusually strong. Even a young fire quail fish could digest a true immortal realm cultivator within a few breaths. The fire quail fish that swallowed Ning Fan was obviously already an adult. Its gastric juice was something that even an immortal cultivator like Long Yensheng would be wary of. Long Yensheng only thought that Ning Fan was old ancestor Nu Luo's lover. How could he know that Ning Fan was strong? As soon as he saw Ning Fan enter the fish's stomach, his face turned green with fear. If Ning Fan dies in his territory, the entire Fire Devil clan would have to bear the wrath of old ancestor Nu Luo. Quick, cry for the fish. If we can save him in time, there might still be hope. Long Yensheng ordered the witch. As a matter of fact, even without Long Yensheng's order, the witch had always been on guard against any accidents. Almost at the same time when Ning Fan was swallowed, she had already given the order to the young girls around her. Then, the young girls began to cry in unison. Each of them cried their hearts out as if they were going to send Ning Fan off. It was strange. It was clearly just the ordinary cries of young girls. However, in the ears of the fire quail fish, it actually carried an indescribable lethality. Be it the fire quail fish that swallowed Ning Fan or the other fire quail fish that were swimming happily on the surface of the lake, all of them instantly had a splitting headache when they heard the cries of the young girls. While screaming in pain, they struggled in the magma lake. The fire quail fish that swallowed Ning Fan. Let's just call it the mortal swallowing fish. It was in the most pain. Under the witch's order, most of the cries surrounded it, making it feel like vomiting. It was unbearable. It was too unbearable. The mortal swallowing fish knew that if it did not spit out the food in its stomach, the cries would definitely continue to torture it. If it encountered such a situation in the past, it might admit defeat and spit out the food in its stomach. However, this time, it was not willing to back down. Because the food this time was simply too nourishing. Only after it swallowed Ning Fan did it truly feel the immense cultivation base that Ning Fan possessed. If it could digest Ning Fan, its cultivation base would definitely skyrocket. It might even become stronger than the fire immortal fish. Due to its greed, the mortal swallowing fish closed its beak tightly and refused to spit Ning Fan out no matter what. At that moment, Long Yensheng became even more afraid. He had never seen such a stubborn fire quail fish. It was not even afraid of the fish whaling ritual. It completely went against common sense. Seeing that Ning Fan had stayed in the fish's stomach for too long, Long Yanxing was afraid that Ning Fan had already been digested by the gastric juice. Thus, he gritted his teeth and made up his mind. He asked old ancestor Nu Luo for instructions. There's only one way left. I'll cut open the fish's stomach with my blade. Senior, please cast your magic technique to dispel the venom and save Ning Fan. Breaking the fish's stomach to save him is the last way. However, it is definitely not the best way. Because there are too many poison sacs in the fire quail fish's body. When the fish's stomach is broken, part of the poison sacs will definitely be broken. That venom is much more powerful than the gastric juice. If even a drop of the venom from the broken poison sacs sticks to Ning Fan's body, what else can I do other than this? I can only brace myself and do it. Unexpectedly, old ancestor Nu Luo was still calm and composed. A double-sided embroidered circular fan appeared in her hand out of nowhere. She covered her mouth and smiled. There's no hurry. The pattern embroidered on the circular fan was a cluster of green female radish grass. Look at the situation now. Why aren't you anxious? Long Yanxing was dumbfounded. Could it be that you are already tired of playing with that little brother? Otherwise, why are you still so carefree when everyone is about to die? Suddenly, the sound of sword light was heard. A ray of sword light that was completely condensed from magic power suddenly burst out from the mortal swallowing fish's body. In an instant, it split the mortal swallowing fish into two halves. The mortal swallowing fish died just like that. Even when it died, its eyes were still filled with greed that it was unwilling to open its mouth. Ning Fan was speechless. He flew out from the fish's stomach. The venom that splashed out from the broken poison sacs could not reach his body at all as it was blocked by an invisible wall of magic power. Long Yanxing was so shocked that he could not close his mouth. What kind of vast magic power is that? He managed to block the venom of the fire quail fish just by releasing his magic power. This young man? Ah no, this senior Ning Fan actually possesses the magic power of a quasi-saint realm expert. Is this fish interesting? Old ancestor Nu Luo asked with a smile. Ning Fan stared at old ancestor Nu Luo speechlessly. He did not answer her. Obviously, he could tell that she was laughing at him for foolishly touching the head of such a ferocious fish. A fish is a boring fish. Fellow Taoist, on the other hand, is an interesting person. Old ancestor Nu Luo continued to tease him. After waiting for a long time, Ning Fan gave her an indifferent answer. There are 204 poison sacs. Old ancestor Nu Luo was slightly surprised. She did not expect that Ning Fan could actually count the number of poison sacs in the fire quail fish's body just after being swallowed by it for a short while. His perception was actually not wrong at all. If you want to eat the fire quail fish, you must avoid the poison sacs when slicing the fish. If you accidentally cut open the poison sacs, the fish will be completely destroyed. Ning Fan's eyes swept across the swallowing mortal fish that he had cut into half and came to a conclusion. The flesh of the swallowing mortal fish had already been splashed with the venom. As a result, the flesh of the fish that was originally snow white instantly turned black, dry and hard. Its texture was like rotten dead wood. It had lost all of its spiritual essence and no longer had any value to eat. What Senior said is extremely true. If you want to eat the fire quail fish, a member of the fire devil race who is familiar with the structure of the fish must personally cut it. If you make any mistake, the entire fish will be wasted. This junior has millions of years of experience in slicing fish. I'm willing to slice the fish for Senior. Long Yanxing said respectfully to Ning Fan with a smile on his face. Since this person already knew how strong Ning Fan was, he naturally did not dare to show any disrespect. Moreover, he had previously mistakenly thought that Ning Fan was in a relationship with Nu Luo and his words were inappropriate. The reason why he deliberately flattered Ning Fan now was because he was worried that Ning Fan would mind his previous words. Fellow Taoist is an immortal emperor. How can I dare to ask fellow Taoist to do this kind of servant's work for me? Ning Fan politely rejected Long Yanxing's kind intention. The calmness in his tone was not a pretense. It made Long Yanxing secretly heave a sigh of relief. He knew that Ning Fan did not bear a grudge against him for the misunderstanding at all. Thus, Long Yanqing's tone became even more respectful. Senior, you are a quasi-Saint Realm expert. Since you have come all the way here, if this junior refuses to accept your help, it would be impolite of me. Actually, I should be the one to do the hard work of slicing the fish. I'm not a quasi-Saint Realm expert. I'm just an Immortal King Realm expert. Ning Fan shook his head. Senior is just an Immortal King Realm expert? Long Yanqing was stunned at first. Then he smacked his forehead and laughed. I understand now. This junior understands now. Senior is indeed an Immortal King Realm expert. No. I guess you don't understand? Forget it. Ning Fan had gradually gotten used to being misunderstood by others. He was already too lazy to explain himself. Since it was old ancestor Nu Luo who invited him to eat the fish, he naturally would not be polite. However, his stomach was still rumbling with hunger. Ning Fan's gaze swept across the fire quail pond. Eventually, it stopped at the largest fire quail fish. At this moment, the young girls who were crying for the fish had already stopped crying. Thus, the fire quail fish in the pond had regained their calmness and were swimming happily. As if it had sensed Ning Fan's gaze, the largest fire quail fish also looked at him. The moment it saw Ning Fan, its eyes were filled with love. After confirming with its eyes, it was undoubtedly a delicacy. Thus, this fire quail fish, this second mortal devouring fish imitated the behavior of the previous fish. It swam all the way to the shore while acting cute. Then, it looked at Ning Fan pitifully, shaking its head and wagging its tail pitifully. Its big ugly eyes were filled with true feelings. When he saw the pitiful eyes of the second mortal devouring fish, Ning Fan's expression seemed to soften a little. He squatted down and reached out his hand, stroking the fish's big head as if he was comforting it. Howled as soon as the second mortal devouring fish saw Ning Fan approaching it, it immediately opened its bloody mouth, wanting to replicate the success of the first mortal devouring fish by swallowing Ning Fan in a single gulp. At this moment, the light of the illusion technique in Ning Fan's left eye flashed. Then, the second mortal devouring fish maintained the appearance of its bloody mouth. Before it could close its mouth, it foamed at the mouth and died. It was instantly killed by the illusion technique. I thought that fellow Taoist would be swallowed by this fish again. Turns out that you were just acting with it, pretending to be bewitched by it. I can't learn this kind of bad taste. Old ancestor Nu Luo said with a smile. Of course, Ning Fan was not having a bad taste. If the second mortal devouring fish had repented at the last moment and retracted its attack, his illusion technique would never have been activated. Compared to eating a fish, Ning Fan was more willing to keep a fire quail fish as his pet. Unfortunately, he had always had a strict standard when it came to choosing pets. Even though the appearance of this fish was to his liking, it did not know the most basic observation and retreat when faced with difficulties. He would never accept such an idiotic fish. He would never accept a fish whose intelligence was even lower than Old Wu's. Achoo! Old Wu, who was far away in the eastern heavens, sneezed for no reason. So, which part of this ugly creature is cute? Your sense of beauty is really strange. In Ning Fan's sea of consciousness, the Ant Lord complained helplessly. The second mortal devouring fish that was killed by the illusion technique was handed over to Long Yanqing. Long Yanqing's body was shrouded in seven-colored light. He stood in front of the kitchen table and unleashed his immortal Emperor Qi without any reservation. For a moment, the weather changed. On the kitchen table, there was a huge fish that was hundreds of zhang long. Long Yanqing rolled up his sleeves and held a kitchen knife in each of his hands. The kitchen knife was actually his Dao weapon. His attack was as fast as lightning. The knife light flashed and the powerful immortal Emperor Qi spread out, almost cutting the sky into two halves. A mere dead fish naturally could not withstand the slash of an immortal Emperor Realm expert. The fish's scales danced in the air and the flesh of the fish was continuously sliced off. As the knife light crisscrossed, Long Yanqing avoided every single poison sac that was hidden in the flesh perfectly. He was indeed a big shot who had millions of years of experience in slicing fish. He was simply terrifying. Looking at the scene where Long Yensheng sliced the fish, Ning Fan faintly had an epiphany. However, it was fleeting and difficult to capture. If he were to slice the fish, he would also be able to do what Long Yensheng did. However, he would need to use his spirit sense to sense it. If he did not use his spirit sense to sense the fish, he certainly would not be able to perfectly avoid every single one of the poison sacs. However, Long Yensheng did not use his spirit sense to sense the fish at all. He just relied on the experience he had accumulated throughout his life to achieve this feat. Practice makes perfect. No matter how exquisite the divine abilities in this world are, they are still incomparable to the purest and simplest great Tao. I have understood this principle a long time ago. However, when I see this scene with my own eyes, I still feel astonished. In terms of combat, Ning Fan had 100 ways to get rid of Long Yensheng. But in terms of slicing fish, fine, Ning Fan admitted defeat. Senior, do you want to eat sashimi, fish soup, or grilled quail with wine? Grilled fish slices are also not bad. What do you think, Senior? Long Yensheng asked with a smile while slicing the fish with lightning speed. Gurgled at his stomach was already rumbling with hunger. After hearing Long Yensheng's words, he became even hungrier. Just do as you see fit. Ning Fan's expression remained the same. However, the sound in his stomach still sounded awkwardly and politely. Junior will do as I see fit then. Not only did Long Yensheng have millions of years of experience slicing fish, but he also had millions of years of experience in cooking fish. Therefore, the taste of the fish he made was unimaginably delicious. Long Yensheng was in charge of cooking while the other members of the Fire Devil clan were in charge of serving the dishes. A few strong men of the Fire Devil clan carried a bowl that was as large as a house and presented it to Ning Fan. In that bowl, there was a whole bowl of delicious fish soup. Senior, please enjoy your meal. The few strong men said respectfully. Thank you. Ning Fan replied politely and no longer acted courteously. He reached out his hand, picked up the bowl that was as large as a house and drank the fish soup in big gulps. Hiss! All the members of the Fire Devil clan, including Long Yensheng, were shocked by his actions. Even old ancestor Nu Luo was slightly surprised. Obviously, she did not expect that Ning Fan would dare to drink the fish soup in big gulps. After all, the flame chi contained in the fire quail fish was too strong. Even a sovereign realm fire cultivator would have to take small bites of it. Even someone as strong as old ancestor Nu Luo could not drink the soup in big gulps like Ning Fan. This person's capability is even beyond my expectation. Old ancestor Nu Luo's heart was filled with joy. Of course, she would not treat Ning Fan to a meal for no reason. She came with a request. The stronger Ning Fan's capability was, the more likely she would be able to fulfill her request. Thus, she was naturally happy to see it. Ning Fan was not afraid of the flame chi of the fire quail fish. From the minor 5 elemental body to the major 5 elemental body and then to the Genesis primordial spirit body, his physique was getting stronger and stronger. His resistance to fire was already extremely strong in the first place. In addition, he had recently obtained a rare treasure which was the land of utmost fire in the 10 worlds. Thus, his fire element had skyrocketed. Currently, he even dared to swallow the fire element attack of an immortal emperor. The flame chi of the fish was not worth mentioning at all. Very soon, the entire bowl of fish soup was finished by Ning Fan. He drank all the fish soup and ate all the fish meat, leaving only a bowl full of oily fish bones. These fish bones are quite strange. They might be useful to Brother Yu. Ning Fan, however, planned to give the leftover fish bones to the fish master. As for why he did not give the fish meat soup, he just felt that it was a little impolite to invite the fish master to eat fish. By the way, would giving the fish bones violate Brother Yu's taboo? After all, we are all fish, forget it. I'll collect these fish bones first. If I have the chance in the future, I'll ask Brother Yu about it first. Then, I'll consider whether I should give them to him or not. Thus, Ning Fan kept all the leftover fish bones into his storage pouch. After finishing the bowl of fish soup, a new dish was served. It was an oval plate that was as large as a boat. Inside the plate was a piece of fried fish that was about to turn golden brown and crispy. It even came with sauce. Gurgled at Ning Fan's stomach was still rumbling with hunger. Ning Fan, who was famished, only used a dozen breaths' time to finish the entire boat. Oh no! It was an entire plate of fried fish. Then it was the third dish. Then it was the fourth dish. The fifth dish. The ninth dish. The 15th dish. Unbelievable! Putting aside the fact that this senior Ning is not afraid of the flame chi, could it be that he hasn't eaten his fill yet? All the members of the Flame Devil clan were shocked. Even Long Yensheng was shocked by Ning Fan's appetite. One had to know that this swallowing mortal fish number 2 was the largest fish in the fire quail pond. Its body was several hundred zhang long. Excluding the parts that could not be eaten, the fish meat still weighed several million jin. After 15 dishes, there was only half of fish left in the swallowing mortal fish number 2. Ning Fan had already eaten 1 to 2 million jin of fish meat, but he still looked like he was not full. His appetite was way too terrifying. One had to know that even the great Kuan of the Northern Sea, who was famous for its appetite, could only eat around 7 to 800,000 jin of fish meat every time it came to this place. After all, the medicinal effect of the fire quail fish was too strong. It could easily cause a person to die from overeating. Even the great Kuan of the Northern Sea, who was strong, could not digest too much at once. However, Ning Fan could, and he still looked like he was far from being full. The next dish is boiled fish balls. Long Yensheng continued to get busy. Dishes of fish meals were continuously served to Ning Fan. Hungry. Very hungry. He had already eaten a lot of fish meat, but the hunger in his stomach did not show any signs of subsiding. Instead, it became more intense. In the blink of an eye, there were only 88 traces of Tao Tai's power left in his body. Then, 87 traces. Then, 86 traces, 85 traces, 84 traces. The amount of Tao Tai's power was constantly decreasing. However, the hunger in his stomach was getting stronger and stronger. Very soon, Ning Fan finished all the swallowing mortal fish number 2. However, he still did not feel the slightest sign of being full. Thus, he went to the shore of the fire quail pond again and tried to tame a fire quail fish as his pet. Unfortunately, he still failed to tame it this time. What he got in return was the third swallowing mortal fish number 3's loving mouth. Then, the third swallowing mortal fish number 3 was killed. What a pity! Although Ning Fan said it was a pity, he still handed the carcass of the third swallowing mortal fish number 3 to Long Yensheng for him to cook. 1 hour later, Ning Fan also finished the carcass of the third swallowing mortal fish. Then, Ning Fan went to the shore again. After that, the fourth swallowing mortal fish number 4 also came to court death. Then, it was the fifth swallowing mortal fish number 5. Then, it was the sixth swallowing mortal fish number 7. No. 8. Perhaps, these fire quail fishes aren't suitable to be raised at all. Ning Fan said regretfully. Long Yensheng was shocked. If he did not remember wrongly, Ning Fan was already eating the 7th swallowing mortal fish number 77. Since Ning Fan caught the fish according to the order of big fish, when it was the 7th swallowing mortal fish number 77's turn, it was no longer a big fish. It was just a medium-sized fish that had just reached adulthood with a body size of 10 zhang. After finishing this fish, there were no more adult fishes in the pond. The remaining ones were all young fishes that were less than 10 zhang. There were still a few thousand young fishes. However, even if they were added together, it would still not be enough to fill the gaps between Senior Sai Ning's teeth. Long Yensheng finally realized that it was impossible for Ning Fan to be full even if he ate a few more fish in the pond. After thinking for a while, Long Yensheng decided to give him some advice. Senior, you can't eat anymore? Long Yensheng advised. Don't worry. I'm not full yet. That's not the problem. If I continue eating, I'm afraid the young fishes in the pond will go extinct. Ning Fan felt a little awkward. He had been busy eating the fish and did not notice that there were only a group of young fishes left in the pond. There was an ancient saying. If you drain the pond to catch the fish, won't you gain something? If there are no fish in the coming year, won't you gain something by burning the pond and turning it into farmland? If there are no beasts in the coming year, won't you gain something? Ning Fan understood this logic. Of course, it was impossible for him to eat all the fish in the pond of the Fire Devil clan. Even though his stomach was not full yet, it seemed like this meal could only end here. If that's the case, I won't eat any more after finishing this fish. Senior is wise. Seeing that Ning Fan had listened to his advice, Long Yensheng felt relieved. He cooked the number 77 piece of swallowing mortal fish and put it on a plate in one go. While Ning Fan was eating the last piece of swallowing mortal fish, he was thinking about where he should go to look for food next. There were still 71 traces of Tao Tai's power in his body. It seemed like he would never be full before he used up all of them. I still need more food, fellow Taoist, you don't have to worry. There are still other places along the way where you can have your meals. Old ancestor Nu Luo comforted him. I've embarrassed myself in front of fellow Taoist. How is it embarrassing? Fellow Taoist's appetite is amazing. I can't even express my admiration for you. This vibration? Could it be? Old ancestor Nu Luo, who was wearing a smile on her face, suddenly noticed something. Her expression changed. Even though she was a second-level quasi-sage, she actually felt as if she was facing a formidable enemy. Ning Fan also noticed it. All of a sudden, the magma in the fire quail pond began to churn violently. That kind of churning was not like a storm but more like the movement of a living being. Countless amounts of magma flew up from the fire quail pond. This description is not accurate at all. It was not the magma that flew up. Instead, it was the entire fire quail pond that stood up from the desert as if it had a life of its own. The fire quail pond was formed by magma. When it stood up like a living being, it looked like a magma monster that was several hundred li tall. That magma monster spread its wings and looked down at all living beings with a pair of cold eyes. It had an indescribable majesty. With just a glance, the entire Quail Fire Palace was instantly engulfed in a boundless sea of fire. That fire could not be extinguished because it was its anger. Yeshiduo! Zilinado! Yeshiduo! The magma monster yelled angrily. The people of the Fire Devil clan immediately exclaimed in shock. Not good. The immortal flaming fish has actually awakened today. This is too strange. It has only been 5 years since the last time it woke up. It should be far from the time of its awakening. Why is this happening? It's this strange language again. Every time the immortal flaming fish wakes up, it would speak a strange language. What does it mean today? Does the clan leader know about it? I don't know. Then what about the experienced and knowledgeable Lady Witch? Didn't you say that you can communicate with the immortal flaming fish? The immortal flaming fish is saying that all of you have eaten too many fish and you must offer more offerings to make up for it. That's right. The Lady Witch made up a story. I see. It's because we have opened the fire quail pond this time to catch too many fish. That's why the immortal flaming fish was angered. Sigh. Who would have thought that Senior Ning would eat 77 mature fish in a row? No wonder the immortal flaming fish would get angry. Don't you want to live anymore? Don't gossip about Senior Ning. He's a quasi-saint. All in all, let's do what the Lady Witch said first. Offer more offerings to the immortal flaming fish to appease its anger. Listening to the Lady Witch's words will never go wrong. Thus, in order to appease the immortal flaming fish's anger, the entire Fire Devil clan became busy. Very soon, they found a large number of earthworms and red worms, planning to offer them to the immortal flaming fish. In front of the incense burner, the Lady Witch sang and danced, trying to appease the immortal flaming fish's anger through her prayers. The Lady Witch wore a confident expression as if she would be able to calm the matter down very soon. Even though she did not understand what the immortal flaming fish was saying at all, she did not know why the immortal flaming fish was so angry. She just secretly guessed that the immortal flaming fish's sudden anger was related to Ning Fan eating too many fish. As for offering more earthworms and red worms to the immortal flaming fish, it was also a solution that she made up. The real solution was not the earthworms and red worms. Instead, it was the song of prayers that she created herself. Mommy, mommy, ma. Please give me the spirit fire illuminating talisman. Mommy, ma, ma, ma. The fire quail pond really works. She made up this prayer. That year, she had just become a lady witch in the clan. That year was the first time she saw the immortal flaming fish awakening and getting angry. Before her, there were countless lady witches in the Fire Devil clan. However, all of them died. Every time the immortal flaming fish awakened, the clan would choose a lady witch to appease the immortal flaming fish. However, all of them failed without exception. In the end, they were all eaten by the immortal flaming fish. Hence, every time the immortal flaming fish became angry, a lady witch would be brutally killed. Only this lady witch mysteriously survived and ended the immortal flaming fish's record of killing people. When she faced the immortal flaming fish for the first time, her heart was filled with despair. She was so scared that she cried. At the moment when she was about to be eaten by the immortal flaming fish, she was so frightened that she cried and screamed. However, a sentence that she inadvertently said unexpectedly calmed the immortal flaming fish's anger. Mommy, ma, 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 ma. It was just a nonsense, but it unexpectedly saved her life. She did not know what kind of special magical power this sentence had. However, from then on, everyone in the clan believed that she had a way to calm the immortal flaming fish's anger. They believed that she was the #1 lady witch in history. After many years, the immortal flaming fish awakened again. She once again stood in front of the immortal flaming fish and chanted the same incantation. As expected, the immortal flaming fish once again became calm and fell into a long slumber. When she confirmed that the incantation she invented was effective on the immortal flaming fish, the lady witch started to become arrogant and let herself go. Her status in the clan rose with the tide. She was second only to one and above tens of thousands. In order to not let others discover the secret of the incantation, she wrote the incantation into a long prayer. After that, she repelled the angry immortal flaming fish countless times and became the undisputed hero of the Fire Devil clan. Once again, she unexpectedly discovered that not only was that strange incantation effective on the immortal flaming fish, even the cry of a young girl could harm the immortal flaming fish and make it retreat. Hence, the Fire Devil clan had the custom of crying fish. The Lady Witch herself did not understand the principle behind this. She only knew that the cry of a young girl could calm the immortal flaming fish's anger and make the fire quail fish feel pain. That was enough. This time, the immortal flaming fish woke up again. Although it did not wake up according to the usual time limit, it did not matter. The Lady Witch was full of confidence and calmed the immortal flaming fish down. Ma 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 ma. Requesting the spirit fire illuminating talisman. Ma 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 ma. Appearing in the fire quail pond, the Lady Witch sang and danced. As expected, when she chanted the incantation, the angry roars of the magma monsters suddenly stopped. It was like silence, like longing, like pain. That emotion seemed to be able to infect everything around it, causing the entire quail fire palace to sink into a mountainous and ocean-like sadness. According to the usual practice, once the incantation was chanted, the magma monster would most likely retreat. But this time, the situation was slightly different. Although the immortal flaming fish was awakened by the incantation, it did not retreat. Instead, it roared angrily towards the sky. Yasidwa, silabinato. Yasidwa. Abado, abado, silabinato. It roared angrily again. Lady Witch, what does this sentence mean? The Fire Devil race never lacked curious children. This sentence is saying that as long as we hand over the person who violated the fishing rules, he will let us go. Moreover, from today onwards, fishing in the fire quail pond must be banned for 10,000 years. That can't be right. The immortal flaming fish only said 3 sentences. Lady Witch, you translated 4 sentences. That's not the main point. The main point is that we can't hand over Lord Ning. We, the Fire Devils, are born as devils and we will die as flames. What's there to be afraid of? We will never betray our friends. Weeping Fish. Use the Weeping Fish ritual to deal with the immortal flaming fish and make him retreat. The Lady Witch's righteous attitude made the blood of countless fire devils boil. They were extremely touched. That's right. That's right. Even if today's incident was caused by Senior Ning, they would never hand him over to the immortal flaming fish. Even if they only had a meal with Senior Ning, they would never compromise with him. Thus, the young girls who were crying fish earlier gathered again. After some preparation, they began to cry themselves hoarse in the direction of the magma monster. The Lady Witch's face was calm, but her palms were secretly sweating. Something is not right. Something is not right. In the past, when she chanted the incantation, she would occasionally fail. However, those were only rare cases. Besides, even if the incantation failed to repel the immortal flaming fish in one go, it should be able to calm him down a little. However, this time, after she finished chanting the incantation, the magma monster roared even more furiously. It actually roared one more sentence. I can't help but feel that things are getting out of control. While the Lady Witch was secretly feeling nervous, she suddenly heard the magma monster wailing in pain. She could not help but heave a sigh of relief. The Weeping Fish ritual finally came in handy. Based on her past experience, the immortal flaming fish should retreat after feeling pain. However, the Lady Witch could no longer remain calm. The magma monster's roars became more and more intense. Eventually, it flapped its wings violently towards the group of young girls who were crying. With the magma monster's height of a few hundred li, it was not an exaggeration to say that its wings could reach the sky. It was just a flap of its wings, but the wind pressure it caused was as strong as the attack of a quasi-saint. This is impossible. The Lady Witch's face turned ashen. She was standing beside those young girls who were crying. She would also be hit by the endless wind pressure. This statement isn't accurate. The range of the attack was too wide. Not to mention her, everyone here was within the range of the attack. There was no difference at all. Why? Why didn't the Lady Witch's method work? Long Yensheng exclaimed. With his immortal Emperor Realm cultivation base, he did not have the confidence to resist the wind pressure of a quasi-saint. Fortunately, he did not need to resist it. Under the astonished gazes of countless members of the Fire Devil clan, Ning Fan and Nu Luo attacked at the same time. Old Ancestor Nu Luo's lotus feet tapped the ground and she flew forward. The circular fan in her hand grew to a size of 100 zhang and she violently fanned it towards the overwhelming wind pressure. The wind pressure released by the magma monster was fiery red, while the wind pressure released by Old Ancestor Nu Luo's fan was green. The green and red wind pressure collided with each other in heaven and earth. The final result was that Old Ancestor Nu Luo was sent flying several thousand zhang away by the wind pressure. When she retreated, she felt a sweetness in her throat and coughed out a mouthful of blood. This greatly surprised Old Ancestor Nu Luo. It was her first time facing the immortal flaming fish head-on. The immortal flaming fish ritual was clearly just a casual attack while she used her full strength. However, she actually suffered a slight loss? How is this possible? Before Old Ancestor Nu Luo's astonished expression faded, the magma monster flapped its gigantic wings again. Wherever the fiery red wind pressure passed, countless grains of sand were burned into magma. Then, the wind pressure approached her again. Damn it! How can this monster attack so quickly? Doesn't it need to accumulate magic power at all? Old Ancestor Nu Luo gritted her teeth. Just as she was about to forcefully block this attack, countless gigantic trees suddenly grew out of the barren desert. The appearance of the gigantic trees was extremely sudden. After all, this place was a desert and there was no way to borrow the power of the wood element at all. It was actually born without any wood. Even though there was no way to borrow the power of the wood element, those gigantic trees still gave off an unimaginably strong qi. In just an instant, the gigantic trees gathered to form a gigantic shield. The fiery red wind pressure that was unimaginably hot actually could not burn through that gigantic wooden shield. That attack, which was enough to make her suffer a loss, was actually blocked in such a manner that defied common sense. The person who made the move stood on the towering gigantic tree with a calm expression. He did not suffer any loss from such an attack. Who else could it be other than Ning Fan? Old ancestor Nu Luo widened her beautiful eyes. This is not metaphysics. It's really not metaphysics at all. Even though that fiery red wind pressure was wind, the source of its power was the word fire. Among the 5 elements, wood gave birth to fire. Using wood to fight fire should have given birth to the other party, causing the other party's fire power to increase greatly. The reason why old ancestor Nu Luo was at a disadvantage was because she was wood while the magma monster was fire. However, the reality was that Ning Fan's would suppress the other party's fire even though both of them were using wood element abilities. What happened in front of them had completely exceeded the rules of the 5 elements. There was only one explanation for it. Ning Fan's wood and the magma monster's fire were of different levels. It was just a simple suppression of their levels. Explain to me. The reason why this monster is angry is not because of me. Of course, this is not important. Just treat it as me. Ning Fan's calm voice reverberated throughout heaven and earth, reaching everyone's ears. All of them were stunned. That female devil was even more stunned on the spot. It can't be, right? This senior Ning can actually understand that kind of gibberish? How is this possible? That should be an ancient language that has not been recorded in the books of the Falling Tower Palace. It should be an ancient language that even Lord Duo Wen's power cannot understand. How could Senior Ning possibly understand it? That's right. Ning Fan understood the language of the magma monster. Even though he did not know which language the monster was speaking, he could directly understand its meaning through the communication of all living things. Give her back to me. Give her back to me. Give her back to me. I can't forget. I can't forget. Give her back to me. Even though I don't know who you are and what kind of past you have, since you attacked the Fire Devil clan, I can't just sit by and watch. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. He had eaten 77 fishes of the Fire Devil clan. Of course, he should repay them a little. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.